Bonjour and welcome to Marie+One. I'm Marie, and today's plus ones are Mammoth Rios and Christian Bennett. Hi, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
It's been a wild day, but a fun day. Yeah. Lots to learn.
Long day.
Long day. Well, we will be able to talk about that. But before we start, I wanted to ask you, or as we start, I wanted to ask you both to maybe introduce yourself in a few words for us.
Okay, awesome. I'm Mammoth Rios. I'm the owner of the Golden Serpent Studios. I've been tattooing for about 2 years now here in Albuquerque and had apprenticed at Albuquerque Inc.
Cool. What about you, Christian?
My name is Christian Bennett. I've lived in Albuquerque about 3 years. I'm originally from LA. I'm pretty new to this media stuff, so just kind of getting into the industry and seeing what's in store for me, seeing what I can learn, especially from being here. So.
Nice. Cool. Okay. How old are you guys?
I am 27 now.
Yeah, I'm 24.
Okay. So I'm going to be the big sister again today. Yeah, that's fun. I'm 32.
Oh, nice.
So, oh my God, I thought you were like same age as me. Well, we can say that. Same age as me.
Yeah, we're good.
I'm older because of stress.
Right? Oh, that's... So, do you have brothers and sisters?
Well, on my dad's side, I'm pretty sure the number's around 12, and on my mom, I'm the oldest of 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got a big family. No,
Yeah.
I don't talk to you.
Okay. Okay, that's fine too. What about you?
I have 3 sisters. They're all older. I was the youngest, but I also have a younger brother now. So, and he's
young.
12 years old. Yeah.
Oh,
Young.
fun. Okay. So you get to be the big brother too.
Yeah, I guess, but all that attention is shifted away. That is.
Yep. You're no longer the favorite child.
No.
Uh-oh. Especially another boy with all, the older ones being sisters. That's fun.
Yeah.
So you said you're from LA originally. Are you from New Mexico?
I'm from Georgia. I call it my dual citizenship because I lived in Georgia for about 10 years and I lived in Texas for about 11.
Okay.
So I've lived here for the rest.
And you just moved
over.
here then 2-3 years ago?
I think about 3.5 years ago.
Okay.
I think.
What brought you to New Mexico?
My son's mother.
Okay.
She's Navajo, and it made more sense to be here closer to the res for all the things he would need versus in Texas where they'd have to fly you out to Oklahoma because that was the closest hospital that would serve Native kids.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or Native folk.
Okay. Okay. I have so many questions there. But you know what? Before we start with today's stuff, I like to take you guys back on a journey to who you were when you were little kids, which was not too long ago, actually.
No.
Yeah.
I can say that because I'm older than you, but
Not the age card.
So what type of kid were you? Like more of the...
Chris, what kind of kid were you?
Yeah, introvert, extrovert.
I was extremely bubbly, and you could say ADHD, but I was never diagnosed, so
Okay.
I don't believe in self-diagnosis. But I was just a pretty annoying kid.
As all kids are.
I liked to make people upset.
Okay.
I thought it was funny.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think people didn't like me as a kid. Yeah.
I see. It's funny because sometimes, my husband would say like he tried to make people laugh, but for you made people upset.
Yeah, and then as I got older,
Uh-huh.
I would learn to make them laugh instead. And
Okay.
that was much better.
I
Class
see.
clown. I didn't really take things seriously. I actually grew up a Jehovah's Witness. So that was
What?
big.
This is news for me.
Really, man?
You never told me you were in the JV.
I swear I've told
Or
you.
JW.
The JW, yeah. Yeah, that's a whole can of worms. But let's just say that I didn't grow up being able to express myself very much. So
Conformity is their tool there,
Yeah.
and fear mongering into
Yeah.
conformity.
a lot of fear, a lot of that stuff. So, but I think it made me stronger as a person, and those times did teach me that what it really means to be an individual. So I'm really coming into myself these past years. Now that I've been able to move out and do my own thing, so I feel like I wasn't really a person before, if that makes sense, and if that's fair.
Absolutely, that totally makes sense.
And so, do you qualify? How do you say that in English? Yeah, qualify yourself as a Jehovah's Witness still, or would you say that you're? What would you say?
If you're a Jehovah, you're screwing up badly.
Oh yeah, I would be a terrible Jehovah's Witness.
The piercings alone.
Yeah. Although I was baptized Jehovah's Witness, I am not.
Okay.
Yeah. I am what's called disfellowshipped, and this is something they actually don't talk about a lot.
Okay.
Within the community is the act of disfellowshipping. I'm completely cut off from my family that I once knew.
Stonewalling is what they call that.
Yeah. Completely cut off from the family I once knew. My grandparents, 2 sets of grandparents, and that's a whole other thing. But my aunties, uncles,
Okay. And okay, because we're here, I'm gonna ask you that too. But so you said you moved from LA, and is it part of the reason why you moved here, or like because you said now you're not talking to your family? Are you still in contact? How is that working?
Yeah, my past has there's a lot going on there. It wasn't stable, so it's hard to explain it to people, but I actually moved here when I was 21.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was working a job at FedEx. I was getting drunk every day. Like, I was just...
Been there.
Yeah, it was...
I used to work at a restaurant, and the moment I got to that restaurant, they would actually have a screwdriver or an Irish good morning sitting on that table waiting for me to start drinking and get to work.
Oof.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot to actually improve myself since I've gotten here. I will say there is something to be said about this place. New Mexico has a lot of powerful energy here, and I do like it. But, yeah, I had gone homeless in L.A. I got fired from my job at FedEx. I was caught stealing Slim Jims from a box for a snack. So I lost my job of 2 years at FedEx. And, oh, man, that was probably my rock bottom, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I get it. I had to steal food too when I was at my rock bottom. Yeah. So no judgment here.
No.
And I had run away from my dad's when I was 17. So, I have been just picking up the pieces of my life ever since. Yeah.
Okay.
That's dope, dude. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. Okay, so since we're like kind of in the religious like thing, so you grew up as a Jehovah's Witness.
Yes.
And what was like I'm so sorry. It's just because sometimes I'm like in my head and I have so many questions, but I'm like, wait, let's share the mic too and ask you. What was your religious like? Did you grow up religiously, or if that makes sense?
My grandfather's from Puerto Rico. The Catholic Church pretty much owns that island, so everyone's Catholic. And I was raised by my grandfather, so I grew up in a Catholic household. However, he was very Americanized on this aspect of church, which is don't go.
Oh.
He hated going as a kid, so he didn't want to force me to. But he was a thick and through Catholic, and I grew up with it. But my issue is that I would question too much. I'm very big on questioning. I don't do anything blindly. And so he never had the answers. So I went to start reading books and reading. And I ended up becoming a historical artist, and I just grew up loving history.
Okay.
And I ended up following into the Nordic religion for quite some time. And then I met my current partner, and she is Jewish. And to be honest, I do believe there's a God, but the type of way I believe in it is that God is energy, but not as a deity into the Bible, but as a part of the world, and as like this table, Chris, you, me, he's in all of us and in everything. He is all. And it's also heavily based off of, in the way, kind of like how pagans or the Natives Americans or the Taino, they all believed that everything was interconnected. And so it's really hard to deny the divinity when, these people are thousands of miles from each other. There's absolutely no way they're all speaking about the same thing at the same time. So my grandfather being Catholic and not really knowing how to teach me how to be Catholic had taught me to question everything and led me onto this path that I do believe in God. I don't believe that any religion's correct, but I do believe that everyone has a right to their opinions toward their religion. And so I don't know what to call myself, because most people look at me and think I am I'm blasphemous for not going to church, or I'm blasphemous for this or that. And I'm like, I do believe that historically, yes, the Bible definitely follows with history. It's, that's kind of the people who wrote the history of most of our cultures. And because of it, it was also hard for me to stay in continuous faith with the Nordic community, because most of the history behind it and the stories are all written by Christians.
Oh, yes.
The Norsemen never actually really had books, so they would put it on wood. Their skin is theorized. Their skin, there's no actual evidence that links that the Norsemen had tattoos. And then they would put it on wood and stone, or their buildings, or their clothes. And these are all things that age, time, weather, and a little bit of man just disappears throughout time. So that's kind of what led me to go, you know what? I don't know who to follow, but I believe that there's a God, and that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
It's interesting. For me, I grew up as I don't know, in Europe, I feel like Christian Catholic is the same thing. And here there's so many different branch of,
really?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, and so we have, like in Europe, I like to say, like, you go to either like a Christian Catholic church, or you're Muslim, or you're Jew, or you're Orthodox, but there's not really
Abrahamic
like
religion.
Yeah, there's not really like a whole lot
They
of.
call them denominations.
Oh, there we go. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And so I was baptized, but then after that really was it, all the way until when I was, I believe, in my early 20s. My dad started an association to help homeless people, and so
awesome.
the church was helping to raise funds for that. So we would go every Sunday, and I loved going because I love singing, and I'm really bad at it. But I noticed that in the church, everybody's singing together.
Everyone's bad equally.
Yes. And so that was very fun. And I don't mean no disrespect.
And every church had one lady that was just
Then
amazing.
go-
Who just had the voice
Yes,
of an angel,
Yeah.
and you're just like,
Yes.
solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
And it wasn't me, but
Yeah, it wasn't me either.
But no, so that was pretty much it. And then, we would go to the Christmas mass, but that's like with, linked to the association, just, to show up and stuff like that. But that was probably it. And my dad always taught us that, well, I was in Catholic school growing up, but that's what most of the schools over there. And then if you want to go to like different, it's like
It's the same in Britain too, if I remember right. A lot of
I
Catholic
think so.
schools and a lot of religious type schools, and then you've got the publics.
Yes. And see, to me, like growing up, I will never forget, like, I think I was in high school, but it's different, the grades here and there, but I was close to the end, let's say like that. I think I was in fourth in Belgium, which means that it was like, I think it's reverse for you guys. I was like 2 years before finishing high school. And I remember that there's two occurrences where in class where the teacher says, okay, well, there's going to be the end exam that's coming up next Friday. And then all of a sudden there's like half of a good amount of the class that raises their hand, and they're like, we'll be sick. And the teacher's like, huh? And so it was going to be the Ramadan.
Oh, okay.
And so the teacher's like, oh, it's okay. You guys can have the exam on Monday then.
Oh, no.
I raised my hand. I was like, excuse me, can we not all have the exam on Monday? Like, and I was the racist in the school then because I
don't know
said
if
that.
that's racist though,
No,
because
I
that
know,
is
but
a little prejudiced. I
to
mean, they
me-
get away with something because of their religion instead of treating everyone equally.
Right? And I was like, to me, I don't have a problem, but then let's all have an extra weekend to study and let's
Exactly.
have it on Monday.
Help a homie out.
Mind you, at the, pause, all the Muslims from the school came to me and were like, you're racist, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I'm trying to make it equal for everybody. That was one instance.
That
And then,
doesn't sound right to me.
School's hard.
right?
Yeah, I was racist because I would speak on issues, and then people would be like, "Well, you're not that color," and I'm like, I think that by definition makes you racist because, it's like this: a white man tells a black man, "You can't talk on our behalf because you're black." Well, a white man can't talk on about your issues because he's white. Where does the racism begin? Is it because of a color it's racist, or is it because you're treating someone different because of their skin? Is it racist? Or when, for example, Jews and Muslims are considered somehow a race, and so because of it, you can't argue with them, or you will get canceled or in trouble and things like that. And I always thought that was strange, even in school.
I think there's a lot to be said there about mixed and or
Mixed kids get it rough. I'm a mixed kid.
and or kids that have come here and have kind of been severed from their roots.
Being JW,
Well,
severing like that.
Well, I mean, so because I'm African American and Mexican from Guadalajara, and I have family in Guadalajara, and I've never been there, and I don't speak Spanish. And
But you
There's
said
a
it
lot of
really well, though.
prejudice If
Yeah.
you don't speak Spanish too.
yeah, and and it would be hard to get to know them because there's just this cultural barrier, like I'm just American.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily look American either. I once had someone come up to me at FedEx and ask me if I spoke English. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, but you know what? The funny thing is, I actually just got my citizenship on 4th of July, which is pretty cool.
Congrats.
Thank you. But every time I would go with my husband to ask questions to the USCIS department, or we would go for an interview, he's Hispanic. And so every time we would go, and even though I had all the paperwork and stuff, and you can hear right away that I'm an
They would
I
automatically
think
assume it was him.
every time they would be like, so who's the immigrant?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's the issue too. This is something that genuinely bothers me. Because I'm not Mexican too, I'm Puerto Rican. Automatically, everyone thinks I'm Mexican. So they'll call me racial slurs. And I'm like, I wish I could be offended, but this isn't the right one, man.
Oh, I see.
Use my preferred slurs.
Please call me that.
Slurs.
Yeah. And I only say it as a joke. Please don't use my,
You never know these days.
But it's more of
gonna
a,
be put on
trying to
TikTok.
bring light to the subject. Like, yes, we can, I don't think racism is as bad as people thinks it is. I think it's just because of miscommunication is why it's as bad as it is.
I wish that we could freely and openly talk about different religions and origins, and also at my at the ceremony on 4th of July, Deb Haaland, she's an incredible woman. She's the first Native that made it to the Senate.
Is it? It sounds familiar.
Yeah, and
Because I was like, oh, that sounds familiar because my son being Native. When there's some cool things that happen in the
Yes.
Native community, everyone knows.
oh yes, and her speech was incredible, and she was also talking and saying how some politics today forgot that America was built on immigration, and it's funny to now kind of close it off or say, hey, America to Americans, and it's like, yeah, but what is even being an American?
Yeah.
Fun fact, that same thing you said is happening in Mexico. They want the
Oh, yeah?
whites to leave because they
Oh, well,
want
see.
their culture,
Well,
their
right,
home
well.
back. And there's an entire cultural battle now. I definitely see where you're coming from. I think that also gets confused too because a lot of people don't understand that there was about a 200-year gap between the first colonies, I believe in Virginia or in Georgia. And since that, they're not called immigrants. They're called, what is the word? Migrants? Or no? What's the word where you basically have to build your community, your home, your food? You have to get everything yourself. There is no superstore or grocery store. Because that's a different word. Versus immigrant is moving from one city to another city, I
or is
believe.
it no?
I don't know if I believe it's called migrants.
That sounds right.
It sounds right, yeah.
If you know, please let us know in the comments.
Yeah, that would be great.
That
But
will be
there's-
too late because it will be after the show, but you know.
Clearly, yeah.
I believe that words have more power than you can imagine. I mean, there's this part in the Bible that I don't usually talk about the Bible, but there was a part that made me kind of think.
Okay.
He said, and God spoke it into existence. I don't remember the quote. I don't remember exactly where, but it made me go, you control your life. By speaking what you want into existence, you'll go to that direction. But if we devalue the power of the word, you won't ever speak. So you'll never create your future. And so by understanding the power and the power that your words carry, or confusing a word like immigrant with a word like migrant, it completely diminishes all of the hard work, for example, the migrant put in.
That is, of course, if they know the difference between the two.
The
Exactly.
two, yes.
And so because there's so much hatred and anger these days, no one's having these conversations. They're just jumping straight to anger. Sometimes racism. I don't think racism is as common as people think it is. Because, I mean, when you I like to talk to both sides of the party. I believe both are crazy because they're both a part of the same bird. However, you find the truth when you listen to both sides. History is only just told by the winner.
Of course.
So what would history say from the aspect of the loser? What could have happened that could have triggered the war that the winner's saying versus the loser was like, that didn't happen though, you know? And so I think that because we have made politics, religion, now money, a sensitive subject, we have now lost the connection between each other because these are big issues. But how are we going to fix them if we can't talk to each other? You know, how can we fix the problem when we think we were right and turns out we were being fed false information?
Yeah.
We can't find out if we're not allowed to communicate to each other. And I think that is probably America's number one issue of anything is they allow their anger, their pride, and their ego to speak and not a place of understanding and open-mindedness like people like to think they are.
Yeah, I think more people exist within a vacuum than they'd like to think. Me personally, I only ever really really have conversations with people when I'm at work, like my coworkers. And
Get to know them.
Right, and that's cool, but there's not many avenues for me to, because I've gone to the bar by myself, and
It's hard to strike up combos with people now because of social media. Social media is disconnected us
Yeah,
so bad.
It just feels weird. Maybe that's me thing, but like people are super closed off these days.
It's not just you, man. I struggle with it too.
Yeah.
Oh, and I hate my phone. I hate being on it. I don't like
Oh
it.
yeah,
I
but then
love
also
in-person, and
social
no one does
media
that.
is only the world, like it's our vision of the world, like
Right,
the
all the
people we
algorithms.
follow.
Yeah.
Like we like stuff we are interested in. So there's like a whole part of the world that we
categorizes
have
clicks
no
people.
idea even exists.
It turns out software completely aimed at maximizing profits for major corporations isn't good for societal progression.
No,
No, because then you have a whole lot of people that just believe that what they see on social media
God,
is
I
the
know.
truth, and it's
Especially with
the only
AI
thing that's
now.
happening. Yeah.
AI makes
that too,
videos
yeah.
that are quite convincing now, and that only a couple of years ago they weren't that great.
I just
I
had
know.
to disable the feature on Snapchat that generates random stories for you
Oh.
using your likeness.
Yeah,
It
I
just
saw
feels-
that.
Just feels gross.
Yeah.
And sometimes it'll have like straight blonde hair, and I'm like,
Sometimes I'm like, wow, you made me look like the whitest Chad on the block. Thanks.
yeah, why do you keep
I'm
trying to
very
make me
bitter
white?
about that.
Okay.
Yeah, white, yes, makes me white.
Yeah.
Oh, it drives me
That's
crazy.
So you youngsters, because I don't have Snapchat. I let that go a long time ago. Oh, I feel like a boomer right now. But no, that's a crazy feature though. I'm glad I'm not on there.
On Snapchat,
yeah.
the only people on my Snap were just friends and fam. I had a Snapchat previously, and people made me regret that very quickly because Snapchat, people don't know how to behave.
Yeah, and you know when I stopped when you could see where people were constantly.
Yeah.
It's like,
I thought
okay,
that
this
was
is a little
strange.
much.
Yeah. If it makes you feel better, I don't have TikTok.
I don't have TikTok
I don't
either.
use TikTok. I barely use Instagram. I'm more on Facebook Marketplace than I am on Facebook. And then what else is there? Oh, no, Snap. And Snap is for family and friends only.
okay.
Because that's where I post my son as well. And people are
Oh,
creeps.
Oh yeah.
I had people like save a picture of my son in their chat, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
What's
and
wrong with you?
see, for me, because I have a little boy, he's about to be 2 end of the month.
Oh,
and
nice. 2.5 for my son.
Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Congrats on being a toddler parent. It gets worse.
Yes. Well, so see, we don't share anything on social media about him either.
Yeah.
But we have this app that's called Family Album, and you can just invite family, and they have access. They can see. I'll show you later. It's amazing.
Please.
It's amazing because to me, see, that's what. Okay, there's so much to talk about there, but first is consent. Yeah, for me, it takes me like 25 pictures of myself to choose one that's good that I want to share. So why would I share if there's one? So why would I want to share like a picture of my son, that he doesn't even know, or or he can't even consent, or even when he's like gonna be 6 or 7, yeah, he's gonna say, oh yeah, sure, but he doesn't even know what the consequences are or where it's going really.
Are.
Yeah, and then there's the whole like black. Oh no, c'est comment on dit? Sorry, my French is coming back. The darknet.
Dark
Yeah.
web.
Dark web.
Oh yeah, it is the dark web. Huh?
I guess
Don't
I
worry,
am
I
a
got you.
boomer. Thank you. Where you never know where those pictures are going, what people do with those. I'm just like, no,
Speaking
thank
of
you.
the dark web, this is a good thing. I don't know if you know. If you have a camera that's on the Wi-Fi, they can access it. And then they'll do live
don't
stream
say
chats.
that.
Oh, no, you want to know because
No.
there was a story that came out.
Okay.
And this mother heard talking from her child's room. I think it was like an infant or a couple of weeks or so. And she was like, what the fuck? Walks in. And then she hears from the camera, because I had like the 2-way mic. So you can pick up sound and then speak into it.
Okay.
Get out of the room. And it was a man speaking through her camera. So if you don't
Like
know
the
about
baby
that,
monitor?
yeah. Oh, I know. Terrifying, right? Yeah. That's why we have very specific cameras that we allow in the house that aren't really connected to the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
And
I am
that's
terrified.
because there's chat rooms like that on the dark web.
Yeah,
so you
see.
can, have your fun.
Yeah, I know, and that makes me mad when you hear like YouTubers or whatever, Instagrammers that
Oh,
are
I
like,
know, it's
I
crazy.
know, but
Or
then you have to
politicians.
stop. Yeah, and then it's like, yeah, well, there's children on TV and shows or on
Netflix,
advertisement,
cuties.
whatever, and it's like, yeah, but that's not that you. That's not even the question. But if you want to, have your kid out there, good for you. But I'm not gonna do that for my son. But
I mean, there's so many Hollywood stories about the dangers of
terrible.
fame and children and children being exploited.
Just heard about Justin Bieber.
Dude, I know. That was kind of depressing. I felt bad for making fun of his music. Like, I respected it, but I made fun of it.
On Justin Bieber.
Yeah, I feel bad for the man.
is there anything new? I feel like I've missed it.
Well, that would that makes sense. I mean, so Justin Bieber was someone who rose to fame pretty
Quick.
Yeah. Oh,
He
yeah.
was a
Yeah.
shooting
YouTube.
star.
I mean, who Justin.
Oh yeah.
Everyone
And then I
does.
know the all like we don't know if there's something that happened with
But he got put on by
P. Diddy.
production by Diddy.
Yeah,
Diddy
yeah.
Yeah, so they're coming out during the whole court proceeding and everything.
Yeah.
With videos of like Justin Bieber with Diddy. And
Yeah, that was a little creepy. It's like, yeah.
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 Didn't Ice Cube go on talking about how he was invited, but he was like, what happens, and like trying to signal like the weird shit that happens without saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
felt
it was
bad.
like Ice Cube who did that. Who
I
kind
don't know.
of brought it to attention.
Yeah. I think a lot. That's another thing with hip hop. A lot of
Secrecy.
male energy and just toxic masculinity goes into.
Ooh, toxic femininity is very high in the rap industry too now.
Yes.
I
but-
feel like something that's not really talked about is how, women have to go under the table to, make it. But I feel like there's a lot of men too, and it's not
yeah.
talked about.
No, because they're ostracized.
Yep.
They're not embraced like a woman might be.
Right.
Like, there are certain things that I know that men will get in the industry, but they try to pass it off as natural. So they'll use steroids. Like Liver King, for example, was this giant greasy freak that just had muscles and tried to convince everyone, eat meat, do these super
Right,
stupid
yeah.
ideas. People like him, I believe, are what's the definition of toxic masculinity, where you are insecure in your masculine. I believe masculinity is neither toxic nor healthy. It is only a source of what makes a person a person. So, for example, leadership, strength, perseverance, resources, and being witty, smart, healthy communication. You can do the most horrifying things with just those skills, or you could do the most beautiful things with those skills, but those are typically considered as masculine traits. And so because the issue with Hollywood is that they no longer peddle that. They peddle, men who just don't speak up for themselves, who are, what happened to Justin Bieber. People like Diddy with purely toxic masculinity. However, he may be masculine, he's just what we would consider as toxic. But I don't think that the masculine was the problem. I think his behaviors with his masculine was, and that we put too much emphasis on toxic masculinity without also putting on the same amount on toxic femininity. Because there's an entire culture now in America specifically, break up with your baby daddy, get on the government. Breaking up families is now a part of the culture, especially hip hop culture. I mean, how many of them have dads? How hard is it to find friends with dads now? And it's because of breakup culture now, and not learning to be in your, like I call it the divine feminine and masculine, where you're constantly working on yourself to be a better person, to work on your communication and trying to help your community. By doing these things, women are more comfortable being feminine, trying to take care of themselves, and the house, the family, you can do it together as a family. Yeah. We've forgotten how to use divine femininity, masculine. And because we've strayed so far from that, you hear the terms like toxic masculinity all the time, but nobody talks about the toxic femininity. And I think is one of the biggest issues with causing the identity issue of men and women in America.
Yeah.
I read a lot of books.
No, but it takes me a second to take it in because it's I think you're talking very intelligibly. Does that make sense? And
intellectually, I believe.
But also like you're very like eloquent. Thank you. That's what I was gonna say too, and it makes a lot of sense. And I feel like for some reason, like it's been a couple years that there's so much pressure put on both men and women.
There is
to kind of stand their ground, and
especially mothers. If you don't do these things, you're a terrible mom. You don't do these things, you're a terrible dad. Nobody ever tells you you're a great parent ever. And then your kid's going to take a while to tell you, so you've just stuck there. Discipline.
It comes down to the things you wear.
That too. If you dress like this, you must be a bad mom or a bad dad. People judge so quickly these days.
I wouldn't say I follow the normal conventions of masculinity. Like I'll wear crop tops. I will wear.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know though. Crop tops were originally made for men in the 80s. I mean, Johnny Depp used to rock that, man. I don't see it as feminine in any way. I think clothes don't have that connotation we think they do.
But it's crazy. I get all kinds of comments. I get a lot of compliments, but I get all kinds of comments from people who think they know better about my self-expression and identity.
Bro.
Right.
You watched was that movie, that party film? It was where the end was the world was ending. It had Seth Rogen. You remember that? You can't handle this midriff. You should tell him that. You just mad because you can't handle the midriff.
I think it's more the hair that comes out of my belly button than people.
Yeah. I think that's just their insecurity, fam. Keep wearing it. Wear what makes you happy.
You know what I was going to say? It's probably people that are jealous.
Yeah. I look at you and go, dog, I can't do that. Good for you.
Right?
The more I do it, and the more I see people who look at me and like, they almost get upset by it. It's like, maybe you should also try it because it sounds like you've been repressing yourself for a long time.
Heck yeah.
Having a deep conversation with yourself in the mirror, you'll be surprised what conclusions will happen.
It's not my problem what people think.
Right.
About what I
Oh, no, of course. Yeah. But see, it's like, it's funny because like, Kusha K that came on the show a couple episodes ago, he had nail polish on.
Oh my God, so many men get judged for that.
Yes.
My father-in-law is one of them. He looks great. He's beefy as hell, but there are women that judge him for that, and that just blows my mind. I'm like, why do you care?
Right.
And that's crazy. The women that judgment.
It's women who judge.
That is
topics
true.
on
That's
that.
true. That's true.
They're faster than men to judge you.
They're right on the bat. Oh, you must be gay because you have polish.
Yes.
It's like, or maybe he just likes it.
I hate that so bad. And I remember growing up, like, it's like, oh, little boys can't play with a doll
Little
or
boys can't wear pink either. Yeah.
And it's like, no, let's not do that. So yeah, my son now, if he likes sparkling things or, or shiny, or that he wants to wear pink or play with a doll, I'm like, weirdly enough, by any means, he loves cars. But
Same.
it's like, but
Full
we're
sense.
not. Yeah, when I'm at the store and he likes a pink stuffed animal or anything, I'm just like, oh yeah, no, by any means that doesn't matter to me. But growing up, it was a lot of
forcing
like
it,
the
that's where my problem
stereotypes.
begins.
Yeah. Okay. So, for me, circling back to like religion, so we can close that chapter.
Of course.
I don't believe in a god, but I believe in energies. So that's why I feel like we're close together. And
Scientific study about that too.
yes, I believe that I believe in the law of attraction, and that we're all energy. We attract what we put out there in the world. Sorry about that. And so, but my frustration sometimes, and that's why I love to have so many different people on the podcast, because I love to talk about anything and everything.
Because energy flows. With
Yes,
combo.
but sometimes with some religion or some particular people, it's almost like you can't have a different opinion, and that is
There's
rough.
a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
unfortunately. I think it's because I agree. I believe it was Harvard. I don't remember exactly who did the study. But yes, you actually emit electromagnetic waves from your brain and your heart. Your heart actually produces much more energy than your heart or your head does. And so when you're connecting to people, that is your heart rate. Like their study shows
Nice.
that our heart rates are probably in sync right now because of the energy that how close we are, the way the conversation is.
Right.
So no, those are that's irrefutable. That does exist. So
Right?
that's awesome.
It's probably
Took me a lot of reading to get there.
it makes sense when you think about us as a hunter-gatherer community. Back to our roots,
Yeah.
that's something we needed for survival, is to be able to get along and understand each other empathically.
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the
It's
same
the survival of
wavelength.
the community.
Yeah, and someone who didn't match the vibrations, you would immediately be able to identify that.
Oh, yes. Okay, so I was taking you back, and I'm curious because, so you said you might have, or you have a lot of brothers and sisters on your dad's side?
None of them I really know, except for like 2.
Okay.
And that's because they found me through socials.
Oh, okay. So you didn't grow up with a lot of siblings at home?
No. I have 2 little brothers from my mom's side.
Okay.
I grew up with. I
Bless
grew up
you.
with them. However, I come from an incredibly toxic household and from an incredibly toxic family, and so that's kind of where I learned about vibrations and masculinity and femininity from a more, not as a trying to sell me crap or trying to teach me to be this alpha male, but more from a spiritualistic and cultural standpoint. Because I'm currently writing a book. It's called The Tales of the Forgotten. Okay. It talks about how tattooing through all of our cultures is all of them. And when you look at the history that tattoo artists, or like in Europe, tattooists are known as being spiritual shamans or spiritual leaders or people of like faith. And so that basically, led me on to my becoming a cultural artist and learning that all these cultures are kind of intertwined in one way or another. And so it gets hard, when even back before they could do like a EKG, electrocardiograph, right? Or but basically you can get the vibrations off of that. But yeah, how did these people who did not have that science were all able to come to the same conclusion? And it's because, we're all connected. And I think my favorite part about being a tattoo artist is that because I know how to use my vibrations, because I'm now very comfortable within my masculine, it allows me to talk to anybody and come from a place of understanding, because I'm able to connect to you through what we call now the vibes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have a hard time connecting with men, ironically.
Especially men from Albuquerque. I notice when it's foreigners or anyone who's not, it's pretty easy to connect to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a hard time with it. My dad wasn't exactly in the picture, so I didn't really get to have that. And then any other man in my life was emotionally closed off all the time. They're just always strong, and that's how I've learned.
That's really strong, though.
Yeah, and that's what I learned to do. However,
I did too.
It made me incredibly angry all the time,
especially in like high school.
Yes.
Yep, that's what happened for me
and
too.
Even to this day, I'm working every day on it. It's just something like being able to express yourself in a healthy way. Men just can't do it. We just can't.
It's because we don't have healthy father figures in our life to teach us how.
Yeah.
The male emotions are a lot more complicating than people think they are, which is why it's super easy to come across toxic men.
Oh, yeah.
Because
even they don't understand their
They don't understand their emotions, and that's literally where it starts. Yeah. You don't understand what you're feeling because no one was there to teach you. So you get angrier and angrier, and I'm actually noticing it now with my son because he doesn't speak. He's not able to convey what he wants. It frustrates him. It makes him angry.
Yes.
And so it's basically going, yeah, keep doing that, and no one's going to tell you how to figure it out. And that's what men have to face. And I think that also happens with women too, pretty often, because their moms didn't learn how to healthily express their feelings. So they learn, okay, well, he made you mad, slash his tires. It's like, whoa, what? You could just be like, hey, I feel like you aren't hearing me, and I feel this is a problem. All of a sudden, the conversation's different. But because they're not taught how to use I feel statements to express yourself or understand the emotion you're currently feeling, actions become the mask of your feelings. And anger isn't actually an emotion, but is a masking emotion. And so because we don't know what's wrong with us, anger steps in for us. And I think that explains a lot. And I think it's awesome that you've come this far, man.
Thanks, dude. Yeah.
It's hard without a father, man.
Trust me, even knowing what you should do doesn't make it easier.
Nope.
No,
at least it
but
gets you a goal.
Yeah. And so, so is your father still alive?
Yeah. Yeah. We talk now because I also have a son now. He's 4.
Congratulations.
Boy parents all around.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. He's
You
a great
youngsters.
kid.
Damn it.
My kid's older than yours.
Yeah, right.
But why I bring that up is we find I can finally understand him a little bit because it's not something I planned for.
Okay.
And and that's something I struggle with every day. Just the fact that I'm not the father I want to be right now. And I'm not the man I want to be right now.
Okay.
And
what a green flag. What a green flag. Green flags, baby.
Oh, stop it. No, and so I actually go to him because I can relate to him finally. It just sucks that this is what it took.
Yeah, I understand. It sucks to go through, especially on your own, man. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Well, so what do you mean on your own? Are you raising your son on your own?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like without a father figure.
Oh, okay. See,
Yeah.
okay.
Sorry.
No, but see, okay. So, my husband, I guess it's a common trait in men I know around me. Also grew up without a father figure. He's still there, but he was in prison, and so now that we have a little boy, it's also really hard for him to connect and to find his place as a father. And but it also, I feel like, and that's just my analysis of it, but I feel like it made him angrier because of the realization of, wait, like this little kid, he needs me, I'm his father. There's no way I could leave him. And how did my dad do that? Kind of, even though he'd never said it verbatim, but that's my, how I can sense, his behavior and how he's feeling and stuff. But is it something that both of you, since you're both fathers and fathers of little boys too, how are you doing with that? And do you have a little insight that you want to share?
This guy,
I'm going to just say, I think the perspective of a loving partner as she watches her man and the struggles he go through, I think it's hard for us as men to admit what's going on. But I think it's a very beautiful thing when our partner can see what we're going through and come from a place of understanding, because then that's when you know you truly have a supportive partner. Sometimes they don't have to ask you. They'll be like, dog, I was there. I'll know what's going on. Are you okay? And then boom, a man who knows he's, cared for, waterworks. I think that's beautiful. I think I'm happy for you.
Oh, well, thank you.
But for me, my dad believed in the pullout game and never participated in it. And so he got a bunch of women knocked up and just kept running.
That explains the 12.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, I
explains
think
the
he's
big
wanted by
family.
like 4 or plus states. I don't know. He's wanted for a few states for not paying child support. He, funny thing too, is also a tattoo artist.
Oh,
But his work is so bad I would never let him come near me with a 10-inch pole.
okay.
He's a terrible tattoo artist. And my mother was also an artist. So I am a crazy product of artists. And I'm just grateful that I got my mom's talent and not my dad's.
Nice. There we go.
But because I had a strong father figure, I didn't have a dad. I still haven't met him, but I publicly shamed him while tagging him. And I've had conversations with him, establishing boundaries, because I believe that if you don't want to be there for when I was a kid, why do you have any right as an adult? And so I make very clear cut boundaries because, I don't want him trying to influence my son that sleeping with women and getting him knocked up and leaving is okay. Since he got so many kids that don't even know his name. Yeah. And so having someone like that was very difficult. But my grandfather is probably one of the most admirable men I know. He served in the Army for 20 years. He was a Green Beret medic during the Vietnam War. And he did great things, went off to become a cop, ended up becoming a detective, ended up working on financial crimes with the Secret Service.
Wow.
Like, he taught me ambition, goals, and perseverance, to think with my head. And watching my parents, my mom and her husband, I don't have a nice word, he taught me the definition of toxicity, and she taught me the definition of toxicity as well. And so I have a lot of toxic people in my life, and because of it, it is definitely difficult to try to become a better father. And so I've turned to like the internet to try to see if I could find answers or, have my questions answered or trying to understand me. Because if I can get me under control, I can control and handle this properly with good emotions. I don't want to teach him that the moment he does something, I yell, or the moment he has an accident, I'm going to beat him up, because that's not healthy to a child, and that's what they'll be programmed to be trained for. And so I understand that these are very vulnerable and memorable parts for his subconscious. And so, like, for example, with me and my partner, if we yell, we typically will step away, come back, hug him, and apologize to him. I do this because it's like, yes, I may be your dad, but I'm also a human being, and I do screw up. The moment I'm able to admit my faults is the moment he's able to learn from my faults, because I am leading him by example. And so I think that's the issue. Everyone wants to tell you how to be a parent. Nobody tells you how to be a father, and that tells you how to be a parent. Because then you learn to create boundaries, to create goals, and to define yourself as who you are as an individual. No one can sway you anymore. You become the protector of your child and the person that your child looks up to, like my grandfather did. He came from a seriously abusive background too. And that man retired well, 20 years in the service, another 20 something as a police officer. He was just sitting at home, making good money, sitting, doing nothing. All because he busted his ass when he was young so he can enjoy his elderly years.
Luckier than a lot of Vietnam vets.
Oh, I know. Yeah, he got lucky. He also was from Puerto Rico and only spoke Spanish. And so he actually had to learn English through the military, because Puerto Rico is owned by America. So you want to enlist, you can enlist. If you can't afford to get off the island, though, enlisting gets you off.
Right.
So that's what he did, and ended up falling in Columbus and retired there, not too far from Fort Benning, and that's where I was born. Small little town, all the way on the other side of the country.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think
There's a lot of Puerto Ricans in Georgia.
yes, Cubans, Guatemalans, Haitians,
I would have never.
and a lot of black
Me
folk.
neither.
Oh yeah, no. I believe it's like 54% of Georgia is
for
white,
real?
is white, and I think the rest is pretty cultural.
Oh, wow.
It was a lot worse, or higher up, not worse, a lot higher when I was younger. But when I last visited back in 2014, it was pretty diverse. And I think now it's even more diverse because people fleeing from Cuba and are still fleeing from Puerto Rico and all that, just because it's hard to make a living out there.
Yeah.
Not easy living conditions either. Every time a hurricane comes in, the government's like, sucks to be you, buddy. Bye. And then the island's left to try to take care of itself with no aid.
Amazing.
Sorry.
You good?
And what's it like being a father for you?
Ooh. It's a lot of things, challenging. I think if I didn't have him, I probably wouldn't have the structure that I do now. He's been a great motivator for me. I wouldn't say, I'm not like those people who are like, yeah, he completely changed my life the moment I saw him come out. I wouldn't say that.
I always feel like people are bullshitting. I saw my son for the first time, and I'm like, wow, look at this little gray alien. He's cute, but whoa.
First thing I thought was, wow, he looks like George Lopez. Just the wrinkles on his face.
Was his head huge too, like the show?
No, it was a little head.
Oh, damn.
He was so precious.
Should have had a full stash, dude. That'd have been gold.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to advocate for the people that fell in love with their babies as soon as because for me,
That's
that
a great
happened.
thing.
When they put him on me, I started crying, but I had this wave of emotion, like, like I wasn't sad, but it's just like, I had this like instant
different.
love. Yeah. And it was so funny because I feel like it's so taboo. Like I've never heard that when you actually give birth that you poop yourself. You poop yourself. So
Yeah.
sorry. And so it's funny because the nurses were so amazing. They were just like, and it's like
you have
nothing
them at Love
happens. Yeah.
I had my son at Love Life.
Oh,
They were great. I loved them
yes.
as well.
They were amazing. So they were wiping me, and and nobody wouldn't see anything. But
judgment.
yeah,
Yeah.
but you
I was
push,
there
and
for it.
there's at that point there was one push. One push, and so it's funny because when he came out, he pooped on me, and so I was crying and laughing. It was like, it's okay, I pooped too.
Oh, good.
So that's gonna be our little
Awesome. I love that.
bonding story. And it makes me emotional, but just like I had this instant love, but I understand that not every woman does, and that's okay, and not every man does, and that's okay too. So
I question that though. Do you think because you carried your child for 9 months that it allowed you time to grow and love the child, and then when you saw the child for the first time, that's when it finally settled in? Because men, we don't get that
that's
same
true.
experience as you. And when we become fathers is the moment that little bugger breathes, and now we're responsible to protect them. Yeah. Before then, it was to protect you, the mother.
Yeah, I think that's,
so. I think we fell in love with you further.
Because there's a lot of women who have depression. And will just the pregnancy will completely change their mind, and the depression afterwards. I've seen it.
I've had the postpartum depression. The first 2 weeks were terrible.
Yeah.
I had like thoughts of why did we have a child? Like what did we do? Like what's going on? Like and you can feel them coming too. Like it's like a tsunami. You feel the waves of. I compare it to a roller coaster because that's really how it felt to me. You can feel when you get higher and higher and you're about to like
waves and before the vibration
and it's like and all you can do is ride the wave and I have an amazing husband that would let me cry, let me talk, let it out, and it lasted 2 or 3 weeks, but and after that it was gone.
That's beautiful.
And don't get me wrong, I am stressed as shit every day because it is really hard to be a parent.
Well, it is, and you should.
The older they get, the worse it gets.
It is one of the most difficult things you can do, and like raising a functioning person
A good person. Raising a kid's not hard. It's raising a good kid.
Right.
I saw this post. When you feel like you're not a great parent because you're not doing X, Y, and Z, that this means because you are a good parent. Because there are parents who are like, I don't care what this kid wants. Screw this kid. For you, you're like, I need to be better for this kid to teach them to be a good parent. And I think that's beautiful that your husband did that. A lot of women, unfortunately, don't get that support. And I think that it's because in our culture now, we've ostracized crying it out. I mean, how as parents, we get shamed if we allow our kids to cry it out. But I'm like, how are you to feel your emotions if you can't cry it out? We do it with our son. Like, we'll give him a whole minute before we'll try to correct or try to redirect. He's got a minute to cry it out. And usually now, maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and then he's good. And then he's back to playing.
Yeah. But
You just had to feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling your emotions is important of becoming a functional adult.
Yeah. And it says a lot that like one of the big expression to kind of like move on from something is man up, right?
I hate that so much.
I say it to myself sometimes.
Yeah. So why do you say it to
Right?
yourself?
I see it as like, well, it was what I was told.
Right.
If I'm being honest.
I was told that.
So it's just that mindset of tough
Come
it
on,
out.
man up. Mhm.
So hold on. Why do you think that's a good mindset?
I don't think it's a good mindset. I just think that it's what I'm programmed to think. And, you know, that's part of me discovering myself as an individual is realizing that, yes, you can be masculine, you can cry, and you can hold someone, and
That's beautiful.
you can
Good.
still be a man.
Yeah.
So if we go back to the bonding really quick with your sons. So you said at first you were like, oh my God, like a teeny tiny human being. So
My
what?
son wasn't. He was big too.
Oh,
He was
okay.
8 pounds, 5 ounces, I think.
Yeah.
He was big.
Wow.
I was 10.
Oh, somehow I can
was-
tell.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I came out thick and I stayed that way.
Yeah.
It's big bone structure. That's what it is.
The Norwegian and the Taino.
Is there like a moment where it shifted for you guys?
I would say about 2 years ago now when I got my insurance license to sell insurance, to be an insurance agent. I had to study really hard. It was a binder that big. It's full of information.
Yeah, the insurance exam's brutal.
Yeah, and I did have a lot of help. You know, it was a great program I went through, but I still had to put myself through it. And I've never studied that hard in my life, not even in high school.
I believe it.
And
I tried it and I failed 3 times and just said, you know what? I'm gonna go be tattoo artist.
yeah, and I just it was hard, but it was like the most rewarding thing I had ever done, and I realized that I am more willing to do that than a lot of people were. There were just 60 people in that class.
What 10 stayed?
Like 20
Damn.
graduated,
Wow. Okay.
and I got a 92.
Oh, heck yeah.
Congrats, man.
Yeah.
Your shit.
Second highest in the class. So, and I never got. I don't think I can't remember the last A I had gotten on a test in school. So
Well, you busted your ass off. I hope you got an A. You know,
yeah,
hard work definitely pays off. It's just doing it. That's the hard part.
Right.
yeah, and you know, small fish. At the end of the day, there's bigger things out there. But for me, that was huge because I had never gone out there and grabbed something for myself before. Yeah, and I think my son was that motivator for sure because I needed the structure, I needed the stability, I needed the paycheck. If I'm being honest, because unfortunately my son also needs a paycheck. So because
They do
my
eat.
mom and him,
It's
were
more
not
of a we comrade.
together.
That
Yeah.
little Bugs Bunny enters the chat, and yeah.
Are you still with your baby mama?
No,
I hate baby.
I know. I'm sorry. I was
much.
trying to find another
No,
way
it's a
to
perfect
say it.
example of what it means. It means
Yes.
exactly what it is. It's just that I hate baby mama culture so much.
Yeah.
It's so
it sucks.
common now.
Yeah, it sucks that I'm a part of that demographic
Same.
for sure. But
I think stepmoms do not get enough appreciation, and especially because of baby mama culture.
Okay.
I think that, for example, my son's with us for 4 out of the 7 days every single week.
Okay.
Or 5 days. So I primarily take care of him.
Okay.
And my partner, she is his stepmom. And she had no obligation to do this, but she chose to do so. And so she's always trying to help. In her therapy, she wants to become a better mother as well. And I think a lot of moms need to do that because, help process your emotions. But I think moms like her deserve a lot more respect than they get. And especially from behalf of the court. Like, if it's a custody battle, the moment they see them, they just treat them like they're, trash. And it's like, well, no, they take care of that child too. They may not have birthed that child, but that is a mother figure. Just like whenever the baby mama goes and gets a man, obviously as a father, we pray that it's a good man and not, an asshole. But, I
for
think
his sake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for my son's sake, I hope. Because, my fucked up kid is about to become your problem. And it comes with me right behind him. And unfortunately for everyone, he happens to have a giant for a father. And so I usually try to use my words, but actions come if the words fail. And I think that's the biggest scary part, and why in baby mama culture we allow our fears of what could dictate how we treat each other. And so I think that's why, baby mamas and baby daddies are the only ones who get any form of respect, while the others who try to step in sure do not. And sometimes, there's a good reason for it, and sometimes there's really bad reasons for it.
Well, in my case particularly, I would just want to say that I have a stepmother, and I gave her the utmost respect because same, she accepted my dad with it was me and my 2 sisters at first, and then they had 3 kids together. So I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters.
And this is in Belgium?
Yeah, and I'm the oldest. But the thing is that it goes to me to a certain extent, because she did and said stuff to us that you can't get a get out of free jail card, for the rest of your life because you did accept a man with 3 daughters, So there is respect, but at some point it has to be also mutual.
Boundaries.
And yes.
Healthy boundaries.
So, so that is my experience with it, but I understand, because the thing is, she went through the same struggle in Belgium too with the courts. She was not even allowed in sometimes, but she was taking care of us. So, there is this big, I don't know why, almost they're if we don't look at them, they're not there.
Everyone wants to say it takes a village to raise a child, but no one wants to let the village help.
Right.
I hate that so much. It sucks. But I'm glad you had a mother figure. I think that at least, even when, for example, people whose partners have died and they're now widowed.
Oh, yeah.
That figure in their life could be the number one thing to help keep them on a good course. And I think everyone deserves a motherly and fatherly figure in their life, because then that will help create a more well-rounded individual.
Well, but see, in my case, for my stepmother, I wanted her so much to be my mom, and I was trying to get her love so much, but she wasn't really giving it back that much. At least when I was younger. I wonder if it's because she wanted to still keep a little boundary or a little distance, because she was having her own children with my dad. That's the read I have on it now that I'm older. But so what I did is that every woman that I had in my life became my mother figure. And so I have a million,
Same with fathers.
Which was so unhealthy. But at the same time, I met so many incredible women. And so that's how it's good to me then to, I feel look up to so many different women and understand that we're not all like men, we're not all equal, and we all have our flaws and our good days, bad days, and pretty cool. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. And what about you?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
So what's your if it's okay to talk about it, your relationship with the mother of your child?
Oh yes, it's a little rocky. We've had a lot of we haven't necessarily worked on a relationship since he was born. So It's difficult. I feel like maybe I definitely could do more to bridge that gap. I feel it's definitely my responsibility to do that.
To create a relationship with her?
I think so.
Why?
I think parents should, whether they're together or not, I think that they should also have a good relationship.
I think so
Going
too.
back to we're all connected. If the kid feels like his parents hate each other, like that's not a good energy to grow up with.
No.
Because it creates this, what I like to call an artificial foundation
Right.
based off lies.
Yeah. And for like the first couple of years of his life, I wasn't exactly around.
Okay.
I was struggling with my own stuff. I was 20 when I had him, so, and that's no excuse, but I wasn't where I needed to be. You know, that's something I struggle with every day, but I'm doing a lot now to try to bridge the gap. It's just really hard for me because there's that layer of guilt that I need to get through because it's just holding me back at this point. But yeah, that's how the relationship is so far. I hope
Couldn't agree more
pray
with you.
that at the end of the day, by the time he's an adult, that we've resolved our differences.
Does he live in New Mexico? Do they live in New Mexico?
No, he's actually out of state.
Okay.
I prefer not to say where.
No, that's fine. No, okay. But that's, you know what? It's impressive also for you to own it and to be able to talk about it and you know,
It's hard not to respect a man who can own his flaws.
right?
I'm gonna get a lot of hate.
Yeah,
Well-
it's though a lot of people who aren't owning their flaws who are hating
That
on
are
you
gonna
versus
hate,
the people
yes.
who can own their flaws and be like, bro, I respect you for doing that. I think
Yeah.
it's sick that you're being a good father, or at least trying, because so many are like, I'll screw that baby, it ain't mine.
Yeah, no, yeah, and I don't sugarcoat it either. I'm not like, I'm not the dad I want to be. That's just how I would want to put it.
Okay.
I know how you feel.
Thank you for sharing that, guys. So, all right. So we kind of went a little all over the timeline of your lives, but
Yeah.
okay. So if I go back, so we know that you were a little troublemaker, but we never asked you what type of kid were you?
I'll make him look like a saint.
Yeah.
I grew up in Georgia, so and I also grew up in Texas. When I was a little kid, I was just me with no family, and I lived by a forest. So I go swim with snakes and swim in creeks and do little shenanigans in the middle of the forest, and then can be treated like shit because I was not black in an all black school. Because the part of Georgia I was in was unfortunately the hood. So that's where they were all congregated. And I went to a school being the only I wasn't even white issue. It was because I'm a mixed kid, the moment they find out I'm mixed, I'm white.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And I think that's the issue. A lot of people who are mixed in the world, they are not represented respectfully. Like I think of it as a very like white supremacist way of saying like, oh, you have some color and that's all you are. It's like, well, no, I'm mixed of these multiple, like this is honoring both my mother and my father by doing this. The moment you only take one because of their skin, it's a problem for me. And so growing up in a school that only saw me as white because I'm a mixed kid, I was very much bullied until the point where I learned to stand up for myself. And this is where the trouble began.
Huh.
The first kid that ever tried me, he tried to steal my milk. And this, keep in mind, was a kid who was notorious for bullying me for my skin color. So I broke his nose off the table in 3rd grade.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, well, he just tried to take my milk and I got tired of being bullied. And, hopefully for my son, I'm able to teach him that not to do that. However,
I mean, if he's being bullied,
to
by
defend
any
yourself
means, yeah.
any means necessary, because sooner or later it will get bad if you don't. And I'm very, very against go to the teacher because every time I did, they got worse. It didn't get better. And especially because I was mixed, the racism got even worse because in the community, they all hear what their parents say about white people. So that's how they assume, that's how I am, that I'm a slave owner, this and that. I'm like, dog, my family came from Puerto Rico and Norway. Like,
It's like, yes, you can be racist if you're black.
yeah.
Public service announcement.
Yeah, yeah, you could be
It is
racist the moment you
possible.
judge on skin versus the character.
Yes.
And so that had basically crossovered into Texas because I came from a school like that, and I came to a school who does not do that, because I went to Fort Worth in a brand new school that was still under construction called Basswood. And I was mean to people. I was afraid that people would bully me.
So you
because
kind
my
of took
skin.
it like, okay.
And so because of that, I became a very troubled kid. And
Makes complete sense to me.
yeah, and so because like when you're doing a journey of self-healing, you got to go from the beginning and take each problem step by step by step. And I've gone and done a lot of self-reflecting throughout all of my years, and realizing that I had lashed out of fear of not being accepted. However, that fear continued all the way until I stopped giving a shit if people accepted me. And that was a lot later in life than I wish it was. Around 25 is when I'm just like, you know what? Hate me. I don't care. You're probably right. Whatever you got to say about me, keep telling. You know, that makes you happy. I won't care. And so because I was always afraid of being, different, I became super different. And so, like I said earlier, when God said that speak into, reality, when he spoke, because I was so afraid, I ended up becoming that. And so it kept going all the way until high school. And one day a teacher had tried me, all because of this exact bandana. It's a black bandana. Isn't that crazy? And said that I was flying colors. And also because I was an emo kid,
Okay.
early Y2K type kid.
Scene kids.
Yeah. Well, scene was kind of, I think, my high school years at that point. And so I know, but that was the school I was in, because I was in the clique of the scenes, the emos, the goths, the alternatives, the pop punks, the skaters, the stoners. That was my go-to scene, the rejects. And because of it, I also had learned diversity amongst minds, because I would also hang out with the jocks, the nerds, the thespians. Nobody's crazier than a thespian, but everyone thinks they're super innocent. I'm like, no, those people they'll drink you under a table if you let them. And so I would party a lot until my alcoholism got bad. And I would end up in places and not know why I was even there. And because of it, I lived a very troubled kid life, because I never had that proper guidance until the very end. And so after I got in trouble in school for flying colors, and then, arguing with the principal, because I'm like, well, if you're going to claim, because my grandfather is a cop, he taught me, try to argue it like you're going to court. And so, very cop way of thinking things. And so I was like, well, explain to me, like, which group and which group flies this color. He couldn't. Keep in mind, it's just a bandana with like skulls. Nothing crazy. Every goth kid knows the bandana. And so I said a lot of incredibly crazy things about his wife and his child. And got 36 days of ISS just to serve 6 hours and then get pulled out of school. And then move to my next school because we were moving. But for some reason in this school, I never got in trouble. I never got even sent to the principal's office, except for the one time he was like, hey, come to my office. And then it's just to get to know me. I never once got in trouble. And then I even graduated 2 years early because it was a great school. And so I had learned that it wasn't truly me that was always the issue, but it was because of all these different schools that I went to
The environment.
and how they forced conformity. And I became one of those people at a very young age who was so afraid of being different that I became different and I couldn't conform. And so I was a troubled child. In reality, I was just a child who wasn't heard and who wasn't respected, who had no safety, who had no boundaries, no proper guidance. or self-respect. I ended up getting up to 310 pounds because of my lack of boundaries, self-respect, image issues, and all sorts of crazy things. And a lot of it was because I was forced into conformity, but I had messed myself up too much. I couldn't conform. So troubled as hell.
Who were you living at the time?
I bounced back between my
living with,
grandfather and my mother and her husband a lot.
Okay.
Until I almost got truancy, and then I went strictly with my grandfather, and then I went to a good school, and no one ever bullied me, no one ever harassed me. I made lots of great friends, and one of my friends from Texas is currently here with her tattoo artist boyfriend.
Oh, heck yeah.
And she was like a part of my clique the entire time. And so I'm excited to see her soon. I haven't seen her in 4 years.
Okay.
No, way more than that. It's like 6 now, 6 years. And I'm very excited for that because it's a part of my life. I was like, oh, thank God, someone who knows me from when I was a good kid. Because that's around 16 is when I finally started getting my shit together. Ish. And so I graduated at 16. And then went straight to work. And
is that when you lost weight too then at that point?
Oh, no. It just got worse.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because I had no true safety, I wanted to be out of my house that I was living at 16 and 17, 18. And, when you're in an abusive household where literally it doesn't matter what it is, we'll fight it out from any form of abuse. And that was what I grew up in. And so because of, that, I gained a lot more weight. I think my 310 was my biggest, but I was in high school, I think my first 2 years, I was at 220 on the weightlifting team. And I was, I think, third strongest in the district. And so I was healthy. I was very healthy. But I was also smoking at the time. I've been smoking cigarettes since I was like 12. And so I got sent to Georgia because of truancy. And so I had to quit the cigarettes. And so I ate my feelings and then got super fat. And now that my life is...
Couldn't weightlift anymore?
It's kind of hard to weightlift when you're 310. And so...
Did they take that away for you for the smoking cigarettes time?
They never knew. No. I was able to. My grandfather also was in drugs and narcotics as an undercover agent, so I was really good at hiding my habits.
Hank Schrader.
Yeah, he was very against the devil's green. Yeah. I'm very pro green because I don't believe in a lot of mental medicine.
Okay.
Well, we grew up with those taboos.
Yeah. I believe it. You didn't have medication in the Jehovah's Witness community?
No, definitely not.
Okay. My mother is an addict, and she taught me how to identify when you become an addict.
Oh.
And I realized that I was an addict for my nicotine, my alcoholism, and so I cut both off. And now I am going on almost 7 months without nicotine and 3 months now without smoking.
Heck yeah.
Any device other than just weed.
Congratulations.
And so I use weed as a, because I was on a lot of medications during that really rough time too, which made me gain weight really badly. Because, a lot of them were like antipsychotics and what else? There was, shit for depression and
So when is the first time that you came across drugs or any type of drugs, the drug, alcohol, whatever?
Oh, I don't know, it was like 4. I don't know. Drugs in Georgia kind of went rampant. It had even all the way up to black tar heroin. Grandpa was in the DA.
Wait, how old were you?
Very young. I don't even remember.
Okay.
I grew up on the streets. I remember seeing it just around.
But then with your grandpa being like the cop that he was and stuff, was it more like was your grandpa's home also abusive to you?
My grandfather was the only part of my life that wasn't abusive. However, he did neglect me through communication. I grew a speech disorder really young because my grandfather wasn't really a talkative person. He was a man of very few words.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And so because I was delayed, it had forced me to learn English and learn the power of words. because no one understood me and it would piss me off. So I went 4 years angry because no one can hear me.
Right.
And I got held back in kindergarten for the same reason. I didn't speak. I didn't know how to speak.
Oh.
And so realizing that, I had really sat down and tried to learn the language because nobody can help me if they don't know what I want.
Yeah. But see, I was thinking that I was also trying to link that to, because you were saying how you look up to your grandfather, and then, you were rebellious and living with them and too. So what made you consume and go towards drugs or alcohol? You know what I mean? Meanwhile, seeing your grandfather being like a law figure, and was it like your rebellious, side?
So I'm gonna tell you some good tea. Nobody's more rebellious and does the complete opposite than children of police, priests, pastors.
Okay.
I was just
all of
about
that.
to say,
Yeah, their
my
kids are the
grandfather
worst. And
also had a large part in raising me, and he was a pastor, to put it lightly, very lightly, because he was what's called an elder, which is a whole committee of pastors in the church that have been delegated, and there's layers to it.
And so, yes, I was exposed to it. However, I'm grateful that I was exposed to him, though.
Okay.
Because the only drugs I ever did were, I think it was X1, and that, or not X, it was Xanax for once, and it was because I was having a lot of anxiety. Other than that, it's always been just weed. Weed and nicotine.
Okay.
However, though, I'm very much a firm believer that nicotine is the most addictive substance in all of them. It's not heroin. It's not coke. Like, nicotine, the most addictive of all, and it's purposely created that way. And so I always feel guilty when I'm like, technically, yes, I am an addict. However, I feel bad because it's like, look at what coke did to these people's lives, or heroin or meth. Like, it fucked them up. But in a society, we don't really see it that way. We don't see nicotine as bad wise because you can get it from anywhere. The moment the nicotine only came from a drug dealer, then all of a sudden it's bad.
You can't immediately die on it.
Exactly. It will kill your ass. It killed my grandfather. But it,
just like alcohol, I would argue it's so much worse for you than most drugs.
Yeah. No, alcoholism is definitely a lead killer in America, especially amongst the Native community. Alcoholism is the worst in their community, I believe, because
so accessible.
Accessibility, how cheap it is, and I believe it's even down to a genetic aspect because of the way that the liquor or the alcohol was created. It's addictive to them. And
I want to say it's also socially more acceptable.
So acceptable. It's okay to have an entire bottle of wine.
Right.
But the moment you break out the meth, everyone's like, oh, whoa, hey, buddy. It's like, So
what do you mean I can't bring out my bowl of ketamine? Store it away.
Hey, man, it's called Special K for a reason. Just pour some milk into it.
Oh, God.
What are you talking about here?
Yeah, no. So, and earlier you mentioned that your alcoholism or drinking was getting worse.
It's because I would party every single day.
Okay.
And I would drink at every single party and be wasted by the end of it. My grandfather always taught me, though, if you're going to sleep in your car, put your keys under the car. Because they can't say you're going to attempt to drink and drive if the keys are not even in the vehicle. However, they're under it. People aren't going to really look for that.
Huh.
So I used to do that a lot.
Please don't do that.
No.
Don't
Don't drink and drive. If you're going to sleep in your car so you don't drink and drive, that's a much better option than drinking and driving.
And then you'll be wasted.
Sleep in your car, keep your keys under, do not hurt anyone or yourself, just...
At least you won't be tempted to get them because you will be too wasted to get out, go get them.
I woke up one time. I was on a rager. I woke up and the entire earth was spinning.
Oh.
Even after I threw up twice. And I could not get myself to calm down.
Yeah.
And so I had to sit there for 4 hours and wait it out until I could start seeing clearly again to drive home, which was only 7 minutes away.
Yeah.
And then that's also how I knew it was getting bad. But I was too depressed and angry. I didn't care. I didn't want to be better. And so it's also what taught me is you can't save an addict. only they can save themselves. And that's kind of where I started learning. It's like, I know it's not considered socially, you know, it's not seen the same socially, but nicotine is an addiction. So the moment I started treating it like I was an addict, I started leaning off. I know I couldn't just quit cold turkey. You know, you don't quit drugs cold turkey either.
No.
Even in rehab, you have to be leaned off. So I knew. So what I did is I vaped, and then what I did was I started cutting the vape mixes down slowly over time, and then I ended up getting like 0s and 3s, and then mixing half of a tank with those two, and then just the 0s, and then one day the vape broke, and I was like, you know what, I don't need it, because I was no longer a slave to the addiction, because I had recognized what is addiction and what is stress talking. And I think that's the big issue that I faced, was I would let my addiction speak for my stress instead of talking to my stress and learning my stress and how to create like a task list. Like you say, your stress is hell. I'm sure it's because there's so much on your plate you got to do, right? So what I've done is created this beautiful method that's helped me reduce it. Things that I can do in 3 months later, those are things that we can deal with. Things that are 3 weeks later, for next week, this week, tomorrow, and today. And then categorize everything on which one's important, kind of like triage. So the most important things get moved to the todays, and then it allows them to filter as I add more to it without overloading myself. Because I know one of my biggest issues is like, I got to do this, and this, and that, you know? And so it's too much at one time, and we only have 24 hours a day, and 8 of them's got to definitely be slept. So that gives you a lot less day.
Yeah.
And so I think managing my addiction came with managing myself, my emotions, and my time.
Yeah.
Now I can drink socially and not worry about slipping into old habits. I go out and get a margarita every once in a while just for the hell of it, just because it tastes good. I mean, I'll go out with my partner and just have a little margarita, a little entree, and just have a little date, you know?
Plus, it's really hard to think about compartmentalizing your life when too busy thinking about when you're going to be inebriated again, just because sobriety is hard. Like, being sober sucks. And
today, I actually, for the first time in 3 months, was like, I could totally use a cigarette right fucking now. Yeah. I was struggling that I was like, I could feel when the addiction was knocking at the door. Instead, I smoked my bowl, and now I'm here. So I see it. I respect a person who's able to do what's best for them and not what's easier for them.
Yeah, because I'm currently in the same boat. I'm trying to quit smoking vaping and trying to cut down on the drinking. It is hard. Yeah, vaping.
It's especially now. The vapes, I believe a study was done proving that the vapes are actually more addictive than the cigarettes are now.
Oh.
And so that's what makes it even harder, especially the dispos.
I got
Those
a buddy.
are concentrates.
Yeah, I got a buddy who he's just stopped smoking cigarettes, just stopped. But then he went twice as hard into the vapes. So now he has 2 vapes currently. And I'm like, dude.
Is it who I think it is?
No.
Oh, thank God. I was going to be like, I'm going to have to talk to him. Help a homie out. I also believe that sometimes you can overcome your addiction on your own. But I don't believe most people can overcome addiction without somebody there on their side. Because what you'll do, and I believe this is a part of the addict brain. The addict brain will justify the means for it. Where the logical brain would be like, shut up. You're wrong. There's no. Yeah. But the addict brain was like, well, what if I steal this and I get money and I can get my fix? They wouldn't mind. Oh, yeah, they'll totally mind. But the addict brain doesn't tell you that. Your logical brain, or if you're especially like me, like a person with a code of morals, there are certain things that I just could not bring myself to do. And I think that's one of the things that I'm most grateful for with my grandfather is that he taught me to create a code and to live by it. No matter what, do not push these. This is as far as you're willing to go. Never go past that, because once you do, and this is the part where, heaven and hell, I'm a firm believer that you will go where you think you deserve to go. And so if you live a life with shame regret, self-hatred, you're probably going to go to hell. And that's your fault because that's how you see yourself. How is God going to love you if you won't even love you, you know? Or how are you going to love you if you won't even love you? So how is anyone else going to come in and do it? And I think that by loving yourself and creating codes and boundaries and moral ethics, it makes it harder for things like addiction, substance abuse in self. It makes it harder for that to happen to you because you've become a well-rounded person, creating the proper boundaries in all your aspects of life. And I think my issue that I still currently face is that being a dad, a business owner in a state that's really difficult to work in, trying to be a good partner, balancing everything that I do, because I do a lot. And I think that the hardest part is trying to make sure that the brain, my addict brain, doesn't speak. And if it does, it's controlled. And so I think the biggest parts that helped with my addiction was a partner who was not a smoker, who, even though she wasn't an addict and never has been, she does come from a place of more understanding and from love. And I think that even if you weren't an addict, if you can still come from that and find someone who can do that for you, that's a way to also quit your addiction. And I think love, communication, boundaries, and self-acceptance is literally the stepping stones. And that's what's helped me. It's just every once in a while, it'll talk.
Right. I agree. In my case, when I lived in Belgium, I used to drink a lot. I always had a bottle of wine in the fridge, and I would drink mojitos or margaritas whenever I would go out. And when I met my husband, when I moved here, he doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. I don't smoke either, but the doesn't drink part helped me so much, because then when you go to the store and you want to buy stuff to make a margarita, you don't want to make it just one. And so, it's
hard to drink on your own.
Yeah, and just be like, oh, hey, yes, I'm alone drinking. That's terrible. So you just don't drink. And so that helped me tremendously.
Plus, you do tend to care more about the opinions of people you love.
Yeah. Their judgment's a lot harsher.
Yes. But don't get me wrong, but especially now with my son, when we go to eat with the whole family, nobody drinks but me. I drink a margarita, and that makes me really happy. And at first I always felt bad because I was like, I was the only one ordering alcohol, but it's one. And sometimes, because my son only wants to just jump on me when we're eating somewhere. And so, you know what? It helps a lot when he's like pulling my hair and jumping on me and yelling in my ear. I'm like,
the jungle gym.
It's like, Mom, you were always so calm. Yes. Like, how did you do it?
Oh,
I had no idea.
I had help.
Hell, my mother-in-law says the same thing. She's when her daughter is like, how'd you raise 3 kids? She goes, weed, lots of it. And I'm like, same, sister. Because I like weed because it slows me down. I have BPD.
Okay. What is
borderline personality disorder.
Oh, okay.
And it's got a very, especially socially now, such a negative connotation toward it because they think they're being purposely manipulative and this and that. Really, all it is. Yeah. And so it isn't easy. It is a genuine, unfortunate disorder that doesn't have a cure, doesn't have a treatment, doesn't really come with pills. It's one of those. You will either destroy yourself or heal yourself, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
And so when I realized that I had BPD and found out, I'm like, well, I was grateful. Everyone's like, oh my God, that's awful. This, and I'm like, no, thank you. Because I was misdiagnosed for ADHD.
There we go.
And because of it, I was doing, treatment sessions for ADHD. That did not help, made it worse. And then finding out I had BPD, I immediately started learning how to heal. Because now I knew what the demon that I was actually facing was. And in a way, it's kind of like in the Bible, like, the demon, or the power of the demon gives, or the name of the demon gives you power over it. What if the demon isn't actually an actual physical being, but is the mental hatred or your own
can be
personal
whatever you
demons
decided
you've
to
created?
Be.
And so by learning that demon's name, I finally have been able to go on to a path of healing and finding individuals who are like me, who also have an amazing podcast called To Be Better. Oh. And they have taught me so much about communication, even especially from a relationship standpoint. Not the whole, we expect this and that. No.
Yeah.
Talk to your partner and use these communication tactics to learn and understand and then create your relationship the way it works for you both. When I first came across that, I was like, wow, that's new. Everyone's always going, well, you're not very manly if you don't do this and screw this many women. And it's like, what the hell? Or you're not very feminine if you ain't doing this and that. It's like, what the hell? This is crazy. What about the average Joe? And this show had talked about that. And it has made my relationship easier with not just my partner, but with all of my friends and some of my family-in-law, because I don't actually have family that I speak to.
Okay.
And haven't spoken to in 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
That makes sense. Me neither.
Yeah. Did you live in a car? Right?
Yeah.
What was it like living in a car for you?
Hot. It was in the middle of summer. And
Wait, which state were you in?
So twice I went homeless majorly.
Okay.
In Nevada was the first time. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
well, you're a lizard.
We were in a car.
That bad.
And then the second time was in California. Didn't have a car that time, so I actually stayed in my buddy's car with him.
Oof.
At least you had a car. That's good.
And we were in the parking lot of FedEx. Yeah, so I stayed there and worked there for like a week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, straight. And I never left. I think I went to 7-Eleven to eat. Yeah.
Nice. I lived in, so when my grandfather died, I took his car. Because, I was there when he bought it. It was his first car for himself, and not as a family man of sorts, because he, raising his daughters, now raising his grandson. He always had to do what was best for the family. Now he got himself a nice little, it was a Toyota Avalon. Not that crazy, But to him, that was luxury, And I took it over because I wanted to make sure that his memory and everything was respected.
Yeah.
But it ended up with me and my parents into an altercation that went so bad the police got involved. I ended up saying fuck it, packed up, went homeless, lived out of that car. Remember you ever see my old car? Okay. It was a 4-door sedan, and I slept in that car for I think 3 months. I had a membership at Planet Fitness, and that's also when I started really working on my weight loss journey. What do I have to do? Clean my house?
Yeah.
So I even had a bunny at the time that I had to give to a friend who also had bunnies. I've had many animals throughout my life. I've had dogs, bunnies, cats. I have 4 now, and then now toddlers. But
wild animal.
The wildest for sure.
Yeah.
And so I had to stay in that condition until I was able to afford an apartment, just to lose that 2 months later in a custody battle, and went back to being homeless. And then I just got lucky that who I thought was my grandma at the time, she let me stay in her place, and then I ended up leaving that place in bad terms and moving here. But yeah, when I was homeless, I used to have to steal from the restaurants that I worked at because they had a policy against eating the food. But I was like, I'm homeless, but at least I'm working. Shut up and let me just eat, man. You want me to stay here? Let me eat a little bit. And I would always find the cheap stuff, the stuff that really, I knew what was on the budget because I was a chef. I was cooking for like 10 years. So I knew what was cheap and what wasn't. So I'd eat the cheap stuff, make it, get in and out. Do it on my own time too. And so I at least tried to be fair with, being a homeless kid. But I worked 2 jobs, so there was, all I needed to do was just sleep.
Yeah.
And I kept doing that until my grandmother realized what had happened. Because I'm not really, especially then, I wasn't really good at letting people in, especially with my problems. Because, as a person with borderline is created. You're not born with that. And it comes from severe abandonment and trauma. And so when no one sticks around, you're like, why the hell would I tell you anything? You're not going to be here tomorrow or next week or next year. You will be gone just like everyone else. And so that's the problem, is the borderline demon has a hell of a voice. And so you're like, you know what, dog, you're kind of right. No one ever does stick around. And then you go through this toxic cycle of being abused by yourself. And that was what being homeless was.
Sabotage any relationship I have right now.
That's what it did. It self-sabotaged all friendships. Relationships, not as much. I wasn't really good at letting women in. And the reason being is because the last one I let in ended with SA to me, and unfortunately produced a child. So.
What do you mean? What's essay?
Sexually assaulted.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, and unfortunately was produced a child. And so because of that, it pretty much, and that was like at 18, right off the rip. So screwed over. Unfortunately, had a child with a psychopath who I feel like a lot of people loosely misunderstand the definition of narcissist. And I don't think she was a narcissist, but she had a lot of narcissistic tendencies. I think her issue, though, was more of she only cared what was going on with her. And I believe that she was I believe that the term is psychopath, where they don't see people as people, but as pawns of their collection. And so I was just a collection that she wanted, and the only way to keep me was through that. And so right off the rip, I learned to not trust women. I mean, my mother, she abandoned me so she could screw half the dudes in Fort Worth. And then I was left with my grandpa having to be the man because his daughter couldn't be a mom.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
No, but
she suffers.
It's not fine, but damn.
I mean,
what happened to me.
It's not that I don't. I'm not like I'm trying to downplay it. I'm very aware of the severity of all of it, but it's because I've learned to forgive it. It no longer can hurt me because I no longer care.
Okay.
I've learned to accept that part of my life, and that she sure shit can't do it to me now. It would be very, very funny to watch my mother try or her try, and how she still stalks me. So I have to both of them stalk me. So I have to be very careful, even though somehow I'm very, very big on the internet. It's hard to find me, and I keep it that way because I do it for the safety for my son.
Oh yes.
Because the last words I said to my mom was, "Come near my son and I'll kill you," because she tried to kill me.
Oh, man.
So, unfortunately, I didn't learn what healthy feminine figures could be. And so recently, this is what I think is the beauty of a relationship, is that my mother-in-law, though just as broken of a past, me and her can actually sit and talk about it and share. And sometimes her daughter will just be like, "What the hell?" Because, she's comes from a more loving family and had learned what it's like to be a loving mother or have a loving father, though everyone has their demons in their past and their stories, which are mine to tell. But her mom comes to me and we'll talk about her failures as a mom, and it's impressed because I won't judge her. I'm like, I get it.
Right.
And I see her as like a healthy feminine figure in my life that I can look up to. And same with her dad. Like, they're the two people in my life now that I finally have that are healthy figures. And I love them very dearly. I've never said that. I always hated my stepfather, and I always hated my father-in-law and my mother-in-law. I hated their guts. They were awful people. And these two, I'm just like, where have you guys been my whole life? I could have been so much healthier. And so because of that, it's allowed me to learn to forgive my family.
Would have been a lot less interesting.
True.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have nearly as many relatable stories. I feel like Naruto everywhere I go. You just start doing the no-talk jutsu, and all of a sudden we're connecting, and maybe you're not as bad as the guys you think you are. And yeah. Naruto was cool.
You throwing so much information. It's I'm so sorry. I mean, I'll say, I think it's
I'm grateful for it.
I think it's good that you went through that path of forgiving, because it's healthier also for yourself, right? Because you can't just keep poisoning yourself with all of that. It doesn't mean that you forget.
No.
But
I can forgive someone for the sins that they have committed. Doesn't mean I have to allow them in my life to keep committing them.
Yeah,
and that's respect that boundary between each other.
Yeah, that's why you don't. It's funny because I don't have many news from my dad. And
is he still in Belgium?
Yeah, it's a long story. Well, I've talked about it several times on the podcast, and it just so I have two sisters that are like my real sister from a same dad, same mom, and then the rest. I don't like saying that because they're all my brothers and sisters to me, but they're like half.
Okay.
And my sister that follows me, she is getting married at the end of the year. Yeah. But my dad doesn't talk to her. And I tried to kind of like, I actually started to talk again to my dad when I was pregnant with my son, because I was like, all right, let's stop the shenanigan. And I, made a step towards him, and it was good. I tried to talk about a lot of stuff that happened in my childhood, because there was a lot of like verbal abuse, and there's not really a whole lot of owning on his side. And I just learned to be okay with that, because it doesn't, and same, like, I forgive, I don't forget, but I feel like, if I'm waiting for an excuse, I'll never get it. And so I don't want to wait for it.
Yeah.
But I tried to connect them again, and it exploded back in my face, and now he's not talking to me again. And so, I don't have a whole lot of connections there.
I have an interesting aspect of that. What if, because of the expectation of the apology, it created something that made him angry as well, and so because of that, it could create a miscommunication.
Yeah. Well, in this case, it's because
I'm not justifying anything.
No. Of course,
it's
it's just because it circled back to the stepmother, and so in this case, my sister doesn't want to talk ever again to my stepmother. Okay. At least that's where she is at today. And so my dad, so she was like, but I would love to have that at my wedding, but. So I told my dad, I was like, well, like, would you consider going? So. Long story short, her fiance contacted my dad because it was her birthday in April, so he would invite her to the secret birthday party. And but he said, please don't bring your wife, my sister's stepmother, because she doesn't want to talk to her. And so my dad was so upset, because then he came to talk to me, and he was like, same as what you were saying earlier. Yeah, but see, she accepted me with you, and she helped raise you, and she deserves a medal, and this and that, and yes, but voila, my French comes back up. Same, but I was like, it's the same like the Monopoly card. I was like, stop. I told him, I agree. You don't have to convince me. I agree, but I also hear my sister, and she's not there. She doesn't want to talk to her. La 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 la. And so, and he took it to heart that I defended my sister. Dear. See, so it's like, all right, and now, so I don't.
I mean, your sister has every right. I mean, if she didn't have that connection, shouldn't be forced to. Yeah. However, he also shouldn't be forced to. Because in a marriage, you're one. I definitely can see where both sides are definitely coming from, and that unfortunately definitely creates a sticky issue between both parties.
Yeah, but if your child wanted you to come to their wedding but didn't want to see your partner, would you just say no? Because you know what I mean? To me, it's like,
yeah, it's a very sticky situation, because like I've always had that belief, if my partner's not allowed, neither am I. But when it comes to a child, I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. But see, to me, if I was a stepmother, I would have said no. But you know what? It's okay. Mm-hmm. She's not there. You go. Don't miss it. I think that would have to been
a discussion though between us, not the child. And the reason being is because that's a me and her only.
Yeah. Thing. Right. Yeah.
So I would, of course, like if my child says, I'm like, all right, look, I know this is a difficult thing to have to say, but this is going to be a difficult convo. So let's have it. I called, blah, blah, blah. They said this. How does that make you feel? And then starting off with how she feels is how you can direct the conversation. Yeah, so if, for example, if I was in this situation, I'd be like, well, how do you feel about that? Are you, is there something you're willing to discuss out with them? And if they want to discuss and they can't, if it's just, it's done, are you comfortable with this? Yeah. And if they are, then yes. But it's one of those, I have to also remember, this may be my child, but this relationship, she's going to be there by my side till the end. And so I don't want to neglect the feelings that she's feeling because they're quite valid as well. However, instead, by discussing what can we do that could work for both parties instead. And so I think because of healthy communication, that's where I'm like, or you could do this. No,
that's true. But you know what? It's a perspective I didn't see. So that's good. That's interesting.
Because yes, there are things like, my partner's a stepmom.
Yeah.
There are certain things that involve both me and my ex. Mm-hmm. For example, with her being Jewish, she's not able to celebrate Halloween. I don't expect her to go.
Okay.
So if she doesn't want to, she doesn't have to. She's an individual. She can make her decisions. However, we discussed it, and I was like, how do you feel about it? Because unfortunately, I'm with my son's mom. and we're going together to trick or treat. I don't really believe in Halloween as a spiritual thing, but I love Halloween because I loved horror films, and I'm just a spooky kid. And so because we had these conversations, they're uncomfortable, but if you avoid the uncomfortable conversation, it'll become a problem.
That is true.
And so we discussed it, and I texted her the whole time. There was very open communication between me and her, so that she knew that there was nothing going on. She also had my location, so in case I go missing or whatever. And keep in mind, I was new to New Mexico. So I'm like, you could have been like, well, what part were you from? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I'm from Georgia and Texas, dog. And she's native from here. She's been here her whole life, so she knows all the parts of Albuquerque. And so she's able to, see where I'm at. And it's not because of control. It's if there's any doubt that can be created, the seed of doubt is the death of the relationship. And so through absolute transparency on both sides with healthy communication, how can a relationship truly fail if both sides are heard? And so I definitely can see where your sister's coming from. Very valid. Same with your, your father and, his wife. And who knows, maybe they had the discussion and she would have felt neglected. Unfortunately, that's your partner and it's your kid. But at the end of the day, it's kind of everyone's choice. I believe in the let them theory.
No, that's true. I agree. But see, like in my case, my mom passed away when I moved here in 2019, and I was not talking to her. And
do you feel guilt toward that?
Yeah, so much. And also, it's like, because I was so stubborn, I was this like black or white person, like, oh my God, it's all good or all bad. And for her, it was all bad, right? And my dad was all good, and I put him on a pedestal and all that. And I moved here, and then she passed, and then all of a sudden, it's like the curtain fell. Like, I could see, like, I was like, oh, wait a second, you put so much stuff in perspective, and it's like, what? And then, and I grew up also where my dad would like talk shit about her all the time. So that's kind of circles back to what we were saying earlier about how you like talk, to your partner or about your partner in front of your kids, because he would like talk shit for like 20 minutes, and then he would be like, well, but don't forget, she's still your mom.
Oh, I hate that so much.
But because then I would be like, but what are you talking about? No, I hate her.
You have to lead by example, and by being an asshole about it, they're going to teach that. Okay. Me and my son's mother, not the greatest relationship. We definitely beef. However, if for the greater good of our kid, we can put that beef aside.
There we
quick.
go. That's good.
Even in our household, we don't badmouth his mother in front of him. If that door's closed and he's not around, by all means, kid, to your heart's content. But in front of him, it's unacceptable to both of us, because it's like, how are we setting a good example? If you got a problem, you say it to their face.
Or anyone you claim to care about.
Exactly.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for doing that.
His mom's still a part of his life. I also am a very firm believer. The moment you start lying to your kids, you're a terrible parent. Being honest with them, the kids can handle a lot more than people realize. I obviously figured that out. I was surviving since I was 6. People say, oh, kids can't survive. Yeah, the hell they can. You give them no boundaries to not cross, they can do anything.
Oh, yeah.
However, some kids go the wrong route. Some kids get lucky and do the right stuff. I got lucky. I think a lot of my childhood, unfortunately, I can't say it was because, I have anyone other than just luck. I got lucky. I didn't end up with the, drugs like meth or crack, because that shit was easy to get a hold of in the cooking industry. And I mean, I definitely am grateful for everything that had happened, because it taught me to see perspectives in all sorts of ways. I play devil's advocate with myself all the time, and trying to think out all the different possibilities of what could happen, or, what could someone possibly say. And I also know that a lot of it has to do with the BPD as a survival instinct at this point. And so kids can handle so much more. It's when we try to save them from everything, we do them an injustice by allowing life to teach. Because no one's going to be a better teacher and a more consistent teacher than life. We all suffer the same. We all die the same. Just some of us suffer harder than others, but everyone has suffering in their life. And so I think that the moment we can recognize that is the moment we can start making our future healthier for our children. It's our past is already up. You know, we were already kids.
Right.
We're never going back. However, we could try to do best by kids, you know, teaching, like for my example, my son's going to know how to fight. And the reason I want him to know how to fight is because he can't be swayed or bullied into things, because he has that confidence that he is safe no matter where he is. I grew up with guns and weapons. I also grew up that anything can be used as a weapon. And so because of it, I didn't go around walking with fear. I knew I could protect myself. And that's what made it easier to accept bigger tasks, is because I was able to protect myself. I could handle more. And so I think that when we don't let life, like I said, life teach our kids, we're doing them an injustice. And I think that's what happens a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And you find out way too late, or you find out much later in life.
I always say, like, parent your kids or the world will parent them.
Oh my God, me too, man. That's such a powerful, powerful saying. Because someone definitely will. And sometimes they might parent them with a gun. And so you teach your kid to be respectful and not be an asshole. The likelihood of that always drops.
Yeah, because I see it now a lot too, like in the school system, education.
Especially the school system, yeah. Entitlement's really bad too.
Children are just, they seem to be the worst right now, and a lot of teachers are quitting.
At masses too, it's bad. Yeah. And there are reasons I'm like,
and then the administration isn't helping.
No, it's all about money. None of it's about the education to the children, which explains why the kids are super fucking dumb.
Right. But besides
so
that,
many dumb kids.
They're basically little addicts running around.
Yeah, they don't talk about how tablets are actual addiction.
Yeah, they're just addicted to screens, and they just need their next fix. Like it's no different than
study
meth.
about that too.
Yeah, it's
a lot of them.
Really dangerous, and they can't sit through like movies that I enjoyed as a kid. Like kids just can't sit through that stuff.
It's crazy because that's all my son watches. Like if we'll throw on something, so we have.
My son too.
time.
I did not allow him to have any screen time for the 4 years he's been alive.
Good.
So
no, my son knows not to touch my tablet. Also being the reason that's how I make money.
That's your work.
But I there was a study that came out, and it was about emotional regulation. Take a tablet away, they throw a tantrum, they get angry, and they go extreme, like straight to violence. Like there is no in between, no small aggressions. Like it's bad. And then give them the tablet after this psychotic incident, back to calm.
Oh, that's terrible.
And I've noticed this too, because at one time I went to a restaurant and I watched this dad take the phone away from his kid, and this little shit just had a meltdown and then gave it back to him and just sat back down. I'm like, whoa, where's the parenting in this, man?
Wow,
Take the kid outside and talk to him, calm him down. What the hell?
It just comes down to laziness.
And yes, it's because a lot of people want kids, not a lot of people want to be a parent. Yeah,
that's a whole thing. But
I hate that so much.
No, I agree. It's the thing is, see, for us, we because you need to work, right? You need to work, you need to live, you need to also just like have a minute to yourself, or iron, or do some chores. And so
Another thing is people have forgotten that it's okay to be bored.
yes, and see, so our son plays, but sometimes like we do allow like for him to watch, but we make sure that he doesn't watch any shit like the Coco Melon and the crazy But he watches like Ponyo or like the
Ponyo's
Ghibli
great,
movie.
yeah.
I know those are cute. And
Can't go wrong, dog. Studio
like,
Ghibli's the shit.
his favorite Disney movie is Coco.
Coco's great.
He dances. So, oh my god, we're gonna do a Coco themed party for his birthday. I'm so excited.
Awesome.
But it's like one, right? It's like, or per like 20 minutes, and then okay, we go play or we read, or he loves to color, stuff. But same, sometimes, don't get me wrong, we've been tempted. We've never done it, but when we're at the restaurant and lately it's been really rough to get him to sit down. But I also noticed too that, we can't do appetizers. When we go eat out, it has to be you get your dish and we go because of course he's gonna be two. Yeah, but and so it's like of course he's gonna start running around and trying to jump around and play.
It'll
He's
take
a
too
little
long.
baby. Yeah, it takes too long, which also pisses me off. If you work in the restaurant industry,
Poor people.
please.
I feel so bad.
No, me too.
love
But
you.
please bring the child's plate first.
Yeah. So what we do is we take his toys. We never give him a screen. So we'll sit there and play with him at the table. I mean, what are we
same.
going to do? Go running? We'll just sit there and play. So we try to entertain and make it a family thing. And so I've noticed now it was definitely rough at the beginning because a lot of what we did was no TV at dinner, just us.
Yep.
And so we are now teaching him it's okay to be bored. And if you're bored, what is the first thing you're going to do? You're going to find something that will stimulate you. So that teaches him curiosity. It teaches him how to find the next task.
Yeah.
And so that's what we have been doing and have now seeing the fruits of it. It's beautiful because we'll just no TV and he'll just be like, I'm going to eat my snack, chill, just look around, and then go off and play.
This is what, like,
Just
the
raising him like a
upper-
normal kid.
The top 1%, the upper class, this is what they want. If you're constantly entertained, you're not thinking.
Yeah.
You're not coming up
I
with new
agree.
ideas, and you're not being creative. You're just constantly consuming, and that's
And that's
Are you even
the real
alive?
issue.
like.
I agree.
Has no one watched Wall-E?
Oh my gosh, yes, I love that so much. Because I'm sitting there going, have you watched Wall-E or Idiocracy? The moment you see them both, you're like, oh crap. We're going to have a president called Mr. Camacho Doritos something.
Yeah.
And he's going to have the most biggest biceps and he's just a Chad. Like it is an Idiocracy. Or you'll have Wall-E where people are so fat and so dependent on their screen time.
And I catch myself all the time because I'll be scrolling on Instagram, and that's why I don't have TikTok, because
Oh, yeah,
that's
I
the
can't
worst
do
Oh,
one.
TikToks is very addictive.
But I'm just like, I have to like I snap out of it. I'm like, oh my God, I just wasted like 30 minutes of my life
Yeah.
just watching other people, like basically supporting
other
other
people.
people's
Yeah.
lives. Like, because you're basically giving them money and just, here, go do more of that stuff I would like to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I
so
believe create more than you consume. That is the healthy balance of life. Yes, we as people are consumers by nature. We consume the land around us. However, it doesn't mean we can't put out more than we take.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like, I know it's a little old tribal way of thinking, is if you're going to make a wave in the pond, make it one that's good, that people remember. And so creating the strengthening through community and being the backbone that people needed. And this is going to be a really sad subject. When my grandfather died unexpectedly after surgery, he died because he smoked so much.
Oh.
He was under anesthesia, and unfortunately, he had a heart attack, died on the table. And so I had to basically plan his entire funeral and everything. And, perk of him being a service member is there's quite a bit discounts you get, but going to his funeral was very sad because all of his friends and family were in a different state, country, or completely different everywhere. He had a lot of family and none of them were there. He had a lot of friends, and unfortunately it's not their fault, because they're from Georgia. And they're much older, so traveling isn't nearly as easy for them now. Because he died at like 70 something, and so I had to, making that call. That was hard because I was the only connection to everyone in Georgia to him, and so I had to make my calls and tell the story over and over and over, and then that had created a war in my family. And the one thing I could sit there, or I did while I was standing there, was at my funeral, there better not be anyone like this. People better be here because they loved me for who I was. They respected me, and I was there for them when they needed me. And now that I'm dead, they're saying goodbye. Not sitting there going, oh, well, I know I've been gone for 20 years, but like, hi. It's like, no, we're no longer a part of each other's life. And so because of, burying him with just having to have a service member help because we didn't even have enough pallbearers.
Oh.
You know, I didn't want to go that way. And so I had started social media, trying to create myself into something that people would miss, that people would tell my story, and that as I got older, I grow with more wisdom in choosing to find wisdom versus pretending because I'm old, I know things. And let's be honest, how many old people we know are just absolute idiots? And you're like, well, you've got more wrinkles than you have brain cells, bro. What is going on with you? You know? and that's a big thing even in higher education. You'd think because they're working at a college, they're smart. No. And so because of it, I wanted to create authenticity. People would see me for who I am. And if they didn't like me, there's thousands of other people to go watch. And so because of it, I had started slowly pulling from social media and started to create more, and only am on there now just to post. I never really indulge much, and if I do, it's for maybe 10 minutes. Then I cut it off. I mean, every night at 10 o'clock, phone goes away. If I want to stay up, then I better read. Better do something that doesn't require internet and TV. So read, draw, doesn't matter. Do one of those.
Nice.
That's good.
And I've noticed that because of it, my sleep cycles have gotten better. I get a little bit more well-rounded sleep. Whereas my partner, who doesn't do that sometimes, he'll go all the way until she goes to bed, gets some awful sleep. And I'm starting to realize maybe those people I thought were kooks might be right. The blue light really does make a huge difference in the sleep cycle.
Let your body prepare yourself for sleep.
Yeah,
So reading does that too. So
it's funny. I was just listening the other day to a French doctor that actually studied that, and he was saying that it's not so much the blue light, but it's the content that you watch. He was saying that because they were saying that people that would watch like I don't know, like animal documentaries or like, or
those
put
are cool.
Something informative.
Yeah, I watch all educational shit on all of my platforms.
right, or that calls, that calms you down, that you just watch. But it's if you watch like a true crime show or social media where you like constantly stimulated to next video, then that has more impact than the blue light itself. They were saying, of course,
makes sense to me.
But of course, they're saying, of course, for your circadian rhythm, you like red light is better, like stuff like that. But
that's actually a cool thing I learned too. When my son was an infant, he was easy during his infant phase because I had learned about that red light. It made it easy. He would just go straight to sleep, no problems. He'd sleep through the night, just fine. I never got the best sleep in my life until he turned into a toddler. Now I can't ever sleep.
Same for us. He was so good, and then the beast is unleashed.
Just put him through a sensory deprivation tank, dude.
That would be great. Maybe he'd chill the hell out a little. Yeah. You ever watch Bluey?
No, actually, but I've thought that's our next phase.
Bluey.
Yeah,
and I recommend Bluey not just because it's good for kids, but as parents, we watch the show with our kid, and you go, "Oh, they love each other. I want that." And then you start, finding nicer things to do with your partner, like strolls to the park, moments to bond, because you're like, this is nice. It's not just the kids, it's the whole family. Yeah. And I love that because then it also brings in characters like Muffin. She is 2, and she is supposed to embody a 2-year-old. And boy, does she do it well, because everyone hates Muffin. But the issue is, it's not Muffin. She's not a problem. She's just a toddler. And you have to realize, they're all like this. They're all little gremlins.
Right.
But sooner or later, they grow up, and then they turn into kids. And then that is when parenting really starts to begin in a whole new way. And I think that's what I think is beautiful about Bluey, is it shows, as well with the kids, how to interact with each other, how to be able to figure out problems, like how we're going to play this game. Well, we need a shopkeeper. We need a customer. We need money, trying to figure it out together. And so my son loves Bluey. And it's one of the only few shows that I'm like, yeah, it gets annoying because I've seen it so many times, but it's one of the ones I'm like, but it's so good, I can't tell you no.
Yeah.
I watch shows with him purposely looking for problems because I don't want him to watch these things, because it's like, you are what you consume. So if you consume nasty content consistently, you'll become a nasty person.
Like there was a lot of,
I can't stand SpongeBob.
There was a lot of moral lessons in that show. Like there's a whole episode about being assertive and how being too assertive can land you with no friends.
Yeah.
And like
learning to share.
Yeah, learning to share.
I couldn't stand SpongeBob because of SpongeBob. He warned me.
I love that show, but I was also an annoying kid. So.
I was a still am antisocial kid. Yeah. I am my partner says this, and also her boss is very important person, super social, just like me, and she's like, what is with you antisocial people having the most social jobs? I wonder if there's other people like that, because I am so like, oh, I gotta go to a social event. Hey, how you doing? It's great to see you. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
I almost feel like you need like more experience and more connections to be in a field where you don't have to deal with people.
Yeah. You can't be in a field without the connections at all. Yeah. And the only way to do it is through talking and being social. And I have a social battery that I'm very, very aware of, and I know when it's time to leave and when it's okay, when I'm doing good. Mm-mm. And I also have learned that my social battery drains very quickly if it's in large groups of people. I'm like about maybe an hour in, I'm like, all right, and I want to go. Mm-hmm. But when it's more smaller, I'm able, and especially like right now, like how the energy is flowing.
Yeah.
My battery's still like green because the energy flows. But I notice with big groups, and bad energy, my social battery plummets really quickly. I also
notice when I don't drink as much at the function, I don't want to be there.
Isn't it crazy? Like when you go to an event where everyone is wasted and acting a fool, and you're just like sitting there with your nice little water and just going, wow, look at all these toxic habits.
Happening? Yeah. Clearly I'm not there.
The Albuquerque parties are definitely crazy.
Ugh, this place. I love it here, but I've seen a lot. There's a lot of substance abuse in this town.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah,
or maybe it's just every town and people in general, just the state of the country. I think it's
small towns and small cities.
Yeah.
Or big cities, too. Because, like, Fort Worth, Houston, Dallas, serious drug issues. I mean, you go to Oklahoma, smaller towns. You got OKC, city, bad drug issues there, I think at this point, drugs are becoming... I think the dumbest thing America has ever done was declare the war on drugs, because drugs have never been worse in American history. Interesting. All because of that bullshit effort.
You became so obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Become what you...
It's hard to know what's out there until someone tells you what's out there. Yeah. Especially as a kid. Oh, crack, heroin, meth. Now I know about them as a young kid. It's not going to seem nearly as scary no matter what you do. Or the false information that it also gave. Your brain on drugs, when it's talking about marijuana, and it was like the egg in a pan. And you're just like...
See, I don't think that's the problem either, though.
I'm saying like misinformation about the narcotics too can also be an issue, because like some people don't realize like how addictive this actual substance really is, because they downplay it, or they make a false scenario like your head or your brain is an egg on a frying pan, and that's what it's like on weed. And so it's like we're trying to teach people the dangers of drugs and doing it the wrong way, because these aren't actually even remotely close. You smoke weed just as much as I do. Your brain
Probably
never
more.
feels like an egg.
It helps me cope with reality.
Yeah, see, it's not a fried egg. So it's like weed slows down. Coke speeds up. It's like you learn what these drugs actually are. It's not nearly as interesting, but when you get false ideas of it, it's easier to fall into. Or you get, you lack boundaries and someone pressures you into it, which also is a huge thing I've noticed out here. Because, like, when I tell people no, they don't always take the fucking hint. And sometimes they have to get aggressive.
Yeah,
like, dude, I don't want your damn drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Chill,
Yeah.
I mean, there's people like that.
What bothers me more, too, is that there's such a... Yeah, like, you demonize, like, drugs, some for good reasons. But then it's okay to have, like... endocrine disruptors in foods, like to have shit, to have colorants and and that to me is really disturbing. And because here way more than in Europe, and I actually learned the reason not too long ago. So why here it's okay to use shit in food is because all those chemicals here, they are how to say that intelligibly in English. They're treated as units. So as a unit, that chemical is not dangerous. As a unit, it's not going to kill you. But over time it will, or over
Like
time
the
it will make
pesticides
you
and
sick.
all that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's how in Europe it's seen. So because that specific chemical over time is gonna make you sick, it's forbidden in Europe. But here, because as a unit, it's not gonna.
Seems like a human rights.
Well, that's the thing, though. I'm also one of my friends went to Germany when he was in a band, and he lost a significant amount of weight touring through Germany. Because I mean, the food wasn't heavily processed. It
I
was
would
reasonable.
probably gain weight because I find it hard to eat the food here sometimes.
Oh,
Especially
I
in this town.
struggle.
I was gonna
can't
say,
even
yeah.
eat greasy foods anymore
Oh,
because
yeah.
then I get really bad. Like my stomach cramps.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
end up almost immobilized. And it's a joke with our family. It's like if you wanted to kill me through poison, just add grease to my water. And sooner or later, I'll just drop because the grease is so bad here in America that it's in everywhere, and so I also struggle with finding food that I can't even eat.
Have
now.
you been to the South yet
Oh
in America?
no,
Georgia?
no.
Oh my god,
goodness.
like Louisiana.
Tell her how they make sweet tea.
I'm scared.
I'm from Georgia, so 3 cups of sugar for a cup of tea.
3.
But no.
I know it's a little extreme. It's not the actual measurements, but
Well, it's
basically
probably
what it
close
tastes
to
like.
it, yeah.
And then a hint of lemon. Or lemon.
I swear that's actually how they make
Yeah,
it. 3
no.
cups for it.
Yeah, Georgia's really bad. It's also one of the reasons why obesity is so bad out there is because it's all
drop dead.
the tea. Yeah, the tea is good for you. The 3 cups of sugar in your cup isn't, you know?
Oh, that's terrible.
Because at some point you become numb to it, and then it's like
Yeah.
drinking water.
It's a tolerance that gets pushed. Like
Yeah.
for me, when I was 300, I used to eat greasy food all the time just fine. I started to cut all of that grease out. I don't even drink sodas. I find soda especially Coke. Like Coke
Oh yeah.
for
So
me
sweet.
it burns my throat. It burns my stomach. I genuinely don't enjoy it. And it's funny because there's this thing called ayahuasca. I don't know if I'm saying it right. It's an herbal, basically an herbal drug. And that there's these retreats. And so what they'll say is cut off caffeine, cut off this, cut off all sorts of things that could be an issue. And so they go through this experience. And then after, things like Coke, cigarettes, all that becomes a lot harder because they have this spiritual journey that straight up reprogrammed their mind. And that's something that I have learned how to do, which is why I don't ever have cravings for sugars or sodas and stuff like that. I have cravings for sweets, but for me, a sweet is like a muffin or
or
a
piece of
pastry of
chocolate,
some
yeah.
sort, or a croissant, like sweet, but not sugary. And I think in America, we've totally forgotten the difference between sugary and sweet.
And see, I had the same when I moved here. My husband, he doesn't, he's not a monk, I promise, but he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, and he doesn't drink anything sweet either. So
There's
it's
nothing wrong with
water
that.
and unsweet tea.
Yeah.
And so when I moved here, you don't want to, we lived with his mom for a little bit there. And so, you go grocery shopping for everybody. You don't want to be the one that's like, hey, let's get this, let's get that, whatever.
It's so awkward too.
Yes.
Why is it weird to not do something?
I don't
It's
know.
because people will judge you for it. They're like, my grandfather specifically,
Yeah.
like when I'd eat a salad, what are you doing that for?
Yeah.
Because it tastes good, man. You don't have to always eat
People
pork
will
loins, man.
Definitely call you out for doing something that's good for you. And
Yeah.
just as much.
It's because I know my grandfather wasn't, but this is a common thing for a lot of people. It's when we watch someone else doing better than us, unfortunately, subconsciously, we get jealous. And we're like,
we only want someone to do as good as us until they're doing
they're
better.
better.
than us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep, it's unfortunate. This is where a lot of my issues begin with Catholicism and Christianity, is that we're trying to follow in the word of Christ. So, for example, don't judge thy neighbor. So why are you judging me out the ass?
And love thy neighbor, but
and then they
that
teach you
also
to
got
judge too.
lost somewhere.
Yeah, love
Yeah.
thy neighbor. Like, there are certain neighbors that
you don't wanna-
You don't need to love them. They're a piece of shit. However, I think that tolerance begins when you just go, you know what, dude, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Let's find something else we can talk about. And if we can't,
No, of course,
then
but
just
it's
be like,
like,
hey, how you
yeah.
doing? And then leave it at that.
Yeah.
Small talk. But I believe small talk is a form of art. And the reason I think that is because it's a skill that not many people have anymore. And it's strange when you're able to sit there and actually have a small conversation with someone because you don't know what their day's like. So you having that small conversation might have just convinced them out of suicide because you just for a moment someone made you feel like you were heard.
They actually say like a couple minutes of human contact
Really
is actually
goes a long
That's
enough
true.
to stop people from having suicidal thoughts.
I was getting attacked on the internet by a local shop that I won't name, and by an apprentice from said local shop, and they were making false claims about the way I conduct business. And I was like, at first I hear everyone out because I'm like, well, okay, well, if they have good constructive criticism, of course I'm going to work on it. But then when it's like, okay, but I definitely know I don't do that. I even had to call him up and be like, just to clarify, you don't do this? And he was like, no. It's like, okay, sick. So nobody is doing this. And now you're starting something. So it's like, for moments like that, it's very difficult to do the whole love thy neighbor part. But I was like, you know what?
I want to hear more about this, actually.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk more about it later. I haven't gotten full tea because it's been a very long week. But because of that, it took me a lot to calm back down because my reputation, yes, I don't always have the best things said about me. But I mean, who really does? I mean, name a single famous person who didn't screw someone over or who didn't do this or who didn't do that. And half the time, it's not even true.
Opinions are like buttholes.
But opinions are like buttholes. And so just because I'm very confident with who I am and I'm very, I try to think deeper, someone's going to hate me for that. And so I feel like that was exactly what had happened. Someone was mad because of something going on with themselves. So they took it out on me, created some lies, and then decided that was acceptable behavior because they justified it to themselves. And I'm just like, and then I even tried to get proof out of them and they refused to give it to me. And then I caught them within a lie and then it just I was like, you know what? Clearly, if you're not going to even talk to me in the truth, why would I even, put my time and energy into something? It clearly isn't. And yeah, that was a very rough
Apparently,
afternoon.
the tattooing community has nothing else to unite over. It must be having a common enemy.
Unfortunately, yeah, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Oh.
And here right now, unfortunately, the community is definitely struggling because there's a lot of people who want to be tattoo artists, but the industry unfortunately punishes people for creating them, or and then they don't make an avenue for people to learn. I think that this is the point where I'm frustrated. I'm not actually a licensed tattoo artist.
Okay.
However, I am an apprenticed tattoo artist. Someone screwed me over to get their service, and all they did was teach me how to do it. But the issue is the state isn't okay with me doing that because he never registered me with my hours. Oh. And so because of that, I'm still considered an unapprenticed or I'm an illegal tattoo artist who is not legally apprenticed. And that is an issue though. However, there is no school to learn to tattoo. You can only get an apprenticeship because someone's willing to take a risk on you that will cost money out of their pocket. An apprenticeship isn't as easy as people think it is. Someone's got to take a risk on you. You got to pray they're willing to work with you, and you got to pray they're good. Got to do your research. Right. And even then, even if they're good, they might not be able to financially afford it, or they're going through a lot in their life. They just can't do it because they don't have the time. So how is that fair?
Like, that's probably how it should be because it produces some really good artists.
Yes. There's so many good artists out there who are unlicensed. I'm not the only one. I have met many who have all contacted me and shared their stories of how they got screwed over in an apprenticeship. There is no penalty. Yeah. There must be. Someone must be punished for screwing people over, and nobody's talking about it. However, they're so quick to attack unlicensed artists. There's this you're inferior to me because you don't have a piece of paper, but yet you can't even pull a straight line. Your lines, your shades, your colors, they all suck. You get infections to your tattoos. There's a shop owner here who infected my friend's neck.
Oh, shit.
His neck is all pink, and it's all scarred up because of her shitty tattoo. However, she's a licensed shop owner.
So how do you get licensed if there is no degree or school?
Nobody knows anymore because the board will punish everyone. I mean, one of my buddies is now in a court battle for taking on an apprentice.
Oh.
Because he was teaching him how to become a tattoo artist and giving them the time that they need to be able to, meet the requirements. Fine. Out the ass. Now a court battle. Now we're going to end up doing a petition because something has to change. There needs to be a way for people to follow their dreams. And this old mentorship program crap, it's not real. You can't do it anymore. The cost of being an apprentice, especially if you have a kid, not happening. The cost of being an apprentice, if you don't have a kid, it's really difficult because now you got to work a full-time job and then you got to go there full-time to make sure you meet your hours. And the hours that they require is 1,500 hours. That is 9 months if you work 8 hours every day.
Yeah, and
That is a long apprenticeship just for hours on apprenticing. Yeah. And it doesn't make sense because no one's able to get an apprenticeship. That's very difficult. So people, what are they going to do? You couldn't stop liquor. They did the prohibition. Al Capone became famous. Well, just like tattooing, you can tell people they can't do it. They're still going to do it. Like Texas, you could become a licensed artist really easy. Arizona, you don't even need a license. I think in one county in Colorado, you need a license, and the rest you don't. But yet you can still follow.
So it's a New Mexican thing.
It's a New Mexican thing.
Okay.
Even if you come from those 3 states or even Utah, if you have a license, it doesn't transfer here.
Oh.
Yeah.
lead to those 3 states?
To all of them. If you don't meet the qualifications to our state within your apprenticeship from another state, you're not qualified. You'll have to redo an apprenticeship. There's people who have been tattooing for 20 years in this state or in another state and then came here and now have to do an apprenticeship. They've been tattooing for longer than damn near a lot of people who are going to all want tattoos. There's so many people who want tattoos and they're so much younger than them, but yet they can't get it. And then I think one of the issues that as well is that there is no real guidelines in this industry anymore. It worked for a long time because tattoos were such a taboo. Of course it worked. You had to learn, and apprenticeships are not even remotely the same anymore. Like, you're not making the needles anymore. You're not soldering the needles together. You're not creating the cartridges that they would go through, or the tubing. You're not learning how a coil machine works, how to create your machine. Like, that was how it was apprenticed.
Pretty much now, because I've seen it, they just stand there like,
yeah.
Oh.
And there's no hands-on. Yeah. And so it's like, okay, you're telling me you can't create a school out of this? It sounds stupid, which is now something that once I get my license, that is my goal. I want to create a school in New Mexico that allows people who want to be tattoo artists a healthy, safe environment to go into that would guarantee, if they put in the work, a license. Not, oh, we'll get you a license and then never register you with state, because it requires the tattoo artist and the apprentice have to go into the board and apply for it. And yet,
right.
There's no real healthy, real open communication between us and them. It's literally us versus them. And they're always looking for a reason to destroy someone. They're not looking for a way to pull someone up. And I'm willing to say, I know a few of the people on that board. They're good people, sure. But what they're doing isn't. They're making it difficult for someone to follow their dream. And then sitting there going, oh, follow your dreams, this and that. It's like, well, why are you in the way then? Like, you're not helping. You're being more of a problem than you're a help. You're destroying more businesses than you're creating. What did you expect was going to happen?
If only there was a way to, like, understand what they want. What is it they want from the tattoo community? Like, in order for the community to actually be able to go somewhere, because for right now, they're not even giving a reason as to why they're making it so difficult.
It almost feels like a monopolization tactic. Only these few artists can have all of the ink.
And that was my next point. Is it's every time you go down to the why, it's always money.
Yep.
I mean, we live in America.
I mean, I understand money's got to flow, but I mean, if you're imprisoning more people than you're making money, clearly something has to change.
Yeah, and if like a huge chunk of that money is going to the homeless, I think it's like 85% of the budget goes to homelessness here in Albuquerque.
Yeah, did you also know I think it's 73% of the Mexican budget comes from government assistance programs?
Yeah, so it's not even our money. It's all just being funneled
yep.
here.
And they say it goes to the homeless, but there's no real paper trail towards that.
Yeah, and then you go to just a couple streets down to Zuni are Louisiana and Central.
Oh yeah, they're pretty rough.
Oh my
Central's
God,
rough.
that is like the worst intersection. If I was a woman,
I wouldn't feel safe.
me. Shoot. I don't feel safe out there at night. Like that's.
I worked at a shop that was on Central, and yeah, It's pretty rough. I mean, we had a dude walk in with a ski mask one time and wouldn't take it off, so everyone pulled a gun.
Why does a Circle K have security? You realize that's not normal in Albuquerque, right? Or that's normal in Albuquerque. That's not normal to have security at your gas station.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's
like armed security.
Yeah. I took my partner to Texas, and she was blown away how nice the homeless were. She was blown away that you could just grab what you need and go. You didn't have to sit around waiting for someone to open up the door and then take it all the way to the front like a damn child. Or they didn't check your bag every time you walked by. This is something that annoys the hell out of me too, is that you made me go through a checkout line. Someone paid or did all of this. Now you're checking me. Technically, you don't own this. The moment that my card went into that slot, legally, this is now mine, and I don't have to show you. So why are you getting bitter that I don't want to show you? Because it's none of your fucking business. If you don't trust your employees, fire them until you can find some that you can trust. However, you shouldn't be punishing the customer for what the employees are doing, or just punishing the customer because you're bitter. It's bad.
That does give me a question, though. So how are these shops finding new artists then?
You just walk in, pray they're willing to take the chance. That's literally what I'm doing today. I went to 3 shops.
Well,
I even had one was like, if you were licensed, I'd hire you right now, but I'm not able to take that chance on you right now.
Wait. Okay. So how are shops supposed to get new artists then at all?
Okay. So this is how it's worked for a very long time. You walk in for a traditional apprenticeship. You walk in with your sketchbook and the different types of art that you do. Typically, the more rounded you are artistically, the more likelihood you'll land an apprenticeship. An artist will take you on. You both get, in this state, would be getting registered through the state as a mentor and as an apprentice. And then you would both do your time, meet the qualifications from the state, and then over time, they would learn how to tattoo, sanitation, safety blood practices, how to dispose of needles, how to dispose of sharps containers, what's classified as a sharps, first aid, bloodborne pathogen license. You got to have a CPR license before you can even get your tattoo license. Like, there's so much that goes into it. And that's how it was supposed to work. Unfortunately, now it's not the same. Now it's, I'm sorry, I can't take anyone. I can't afford it. I can't, I don't have the time. The state will try to ruin me. Because I went to a shop. He was like, I went to 2 shops. One was like, if you had your license, I'd take you. The other one was like, I would love to take you, but I'm fighting the state.
So,
and it's overtaking an apprentice.
So what I'm hearing is that shops aren't getting new artists.
They're not able to because of the state. The state requirement is so out the ass and so unrealistic. It's not safe for people to do what tradition has said since Sailor Jerry. It's been the tradition.
And so you're not able to tattoo right now?
I'm not able to legally tattoo, no.
Okay.
No. I mean, that's the part that's now...
It's like driving. You can do it without a license.
You cannot do it without a license? Come on, Christian.
It's not recommended. However, yes, I do have other licensing.
Okay.
I only am lacking my tattoo license. I have my other 3, and I keep those up to date every year. And... so, like, one of the perks with me is I only need my hours. I don't need the chair. I don't need the machines. I don't need any of it. I own everything. I even down to my paper to stencils. I own it all. And so all they would be doing is taking a risk on me for time. It would literally cost them nothing other than the mentor fee, because I also have my own clientele base. I have my own, my own history, everything. But even then, even with it that easy, it's still that scary for them to take on. And it's like, bro, this is the easiest apprenticeship you could literally do.
Like,
but the state is so mean that you're not willing to take that chance, because that also affects your family. And I don't blame any of them. I'm more on their side. I'm like, they got to get it. I probably would do the same if I was looking at such a heavy consequence. Yeah. And these people are sitting there going, oh, we're doing what's best for the tattoo community. They don't hear the tattoo community. They hear themselves talking and think they're right.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of artists don't listen to the little guy. They only have this like Reich, only us, us versus them type of mentality. And I think that is one of the biggest issues in Mexico over tattooing. We host Tattoo Fiesta. Why can't we have schools to teach? We have schools for carpenters, CNC, plumbing, electricians.
That is a weird one. Yeah.
They have schools for all of those, even accountants. They go to school for, finances. There's schools for all sorts of things. But why is it tattooing? You only get one apprentice, and then the state hates you. And then the state fucks you over. And then now the apprentice doesn't have a license. And now the apprentice can't work. Mm-hmm. You're just screwed someone out of a whole year to 2 years of apprenticing just to give them nothing.
Yeah.
And the state doesn't punish anyone. Like if the artist is taking them on, knowing they're not going to license them, there needs to be punishment. And there has to be proof.
They're treating it like it's a BCE job. That's such a archaic process.
Doesn't make sense.
And why? That's so weird. I don't get it.
That's why me and a few other shops are wanting to now make this a legal issue because something has to change.
Yeah.
And if I could get, I would love to be able to get the experience and the time and the ability to be able to create a school and make that. It'd be dope as how to hire artists, teach these kids how to become artists, healthy, successful artists, practicing all of the proper, medical hygiene and. Because even with me, I notice a lot of artists don't do this, and that kind of bothers me. I'll get this little brush, and when I'm washing my hands, I'll even scrub under my nails, just like you would if you're going to an OR. You scrub even under because you're carrying so much germs. Cool, you wash your hands, so what? You have dirt, probably a couple hundred little bacteria under your nail. And then also another thing that trips me out is when I see an artist with nasty-ass nails, and I'm like... You have so much germ under
anyone
that.
with nasty nails,
I'm like,
what have you been doing? Yeah.
You want to be like this. You don't want to be like this, And so that's what bugs me. It's like we are over here saying, oh, you're not good enough to be a tattoo artist. Bro, you can't even clean your nails. Who are you to judge if you're not even better than me? If you're practicing bad, you're practicing bad. There's no middle ground in bad practice. It's just bacteria won't lie. It'll tell you straight up by, infection or amputation. And fun fact, so I read this book called The Butchering Art. It's really good. It's about Victorian medicine, and it was before the microscope. And so most of the time when you would do an amputation, the patient died. And they couldn't figure out why. And it was all because of germs. Microscopic germs. So it's like, this is from Victorian times. It's 2025, dog. Why do you not know this? Like, hygiene is so not taken seriously in this industry.
Well, look
like
what they had to do to
is.
Find out.
I don't know, man. The microscope's been around since 1886 or something. It's been long enough that we know to wear latex or non-latex gloves because of climates. We also know to wear gloves because we don't want blood. We also have to wear certain gloves that don't puncture because if they have a disease, we can get it. It wouldn't have been possible, but yet we can figure that out. Why can't we figure out to clean our nails?
Well, basic education is no longer common. Education is no longer common.
I mean, common knowledge is no longer common.
Right, common knowledge.
Yeah, but yeah,
it's crazy, and it's like. And it's because I believe how we are so purposely dividing each other. That's why common knowledge is gone. Because no one talks to each other. We're too busy addicted to our screens or,
Where there's that, and then the parents have more an opinion on their kids' education than they should.
Not enough opinions. Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of things that I see from other schools that I'm just flabbergasted. I just can't believe I just read that article. Or even the title to said article. I'm like, what?
Right. It just goes back to government mandate.
I believe there was there was quite a few teachers recently from the Albuquerque police, or not the Albuquerque police, the Albuquerque public school system who were arrested for sexual relationships with the children.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And keep in mind, this was in elementary schools.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just like, no way. Nah. There's no way you could keep me from flying off of the handlebars for something like that. And yet, of course, what did the school try to do? Cover it up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's something that also scares me. It's like, I can't send you to school without worrying about you getting, and then I can't even give you a tablet without them trying to do the same thing. Because, predators love Instagram. They love when you post your kids. And I see things that, like, even friends that I went to school with, I'm like, bro, why would you post that of your child?
Right.
There's someone definitely liking that. That's gross.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh. And so, like, with my Instagram, it's private, and I know every single name on that list. Same with my Snapchat. I know every single person on that list. If I don't know you, you're definitely not getting in. And so I know my son's safe if I were to post there. And I don't post often about him. And it's because if you're that important, you'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
So, you talked about the state of the tattoo industry currently, but I was actually curious about your tattooing journey and where it came from. And that's also why I kind of wanted to take you back. And were you kind of like, where does that artist part of you come from? Did you that's going to be stereotypical, but did you like to draw when you were a kid? Did you like to paint or do anything like that? Where did the love of tattooing come from?
When I was young, I was in elementary, I believe, was the age where I started really drawing.
Okay.
And this is a very beautiful thing that I learned, is that children learn how to draw to express themselves before the words can form. So I used to draw dragons and things like that, things that were symbolic of strength, because I did not feel strong. I was bullied. And so because I wanted to see myself in this light, I started drawing. And then sooner or later, I started manifesting that, not realizing that I was.
Yeah.
And so I ended up breaking that kid's nose. However, nobody else bullied me ever again in that school because they were afraid that would happen. And so I stood my ground. And I definitely got good results. I got detention, but, it was worth it. No one bullied me anymore. There's times to make sacrifices and times not to. And I think drawing had helped me figure that out, because I can look at my art and then figure out how does it speak to me. Because sometimes art isn't really this logical thing. It's more of felt. And then so you look at it, for example, this table. If I were to see it, I see a white table. But then I start drawing and start making lines, and all of a sudden something is now forming. Or I look over there and I can see it, and I can see where the lines are to it, and I know exactly where I am, and then I make this hand-eye coordination from what I see. And so since I was a little kid, that fascinated me, that I was able to do that. And I ended up having this teacher who believed in me and would hype me up and try to teach me perspectives and gradients and tones and all sorts of cool little things as a kid. And of course, I'm a kid. I'm not that great of an artist. But the fact that he did that, it started me off. And my grandfather lived on the History Channel between food and history. And so I sat there and I would watch, and you would have the Japanese history. And so, of course, there's art. And then you got the Hindu, you got the Muslims, you got the Christians. They're all sorts of different arts. And it just was so inspiring to see that this is how people saw the world. If it wasn't for artists, a lot of history wouldn't have been depicted easily,
Isn't that interesting, though, too, how different people's, you would think animals, all kinds of animals have their routines and they're all pretty similar. But when it comes to humans and their different cultures, they all see the world differently. Do you think that,
and similar at the same time?
Yeah, but do you think that, impacts, their actual perception of reality?
I don't believe reality exists. That I believe reality is only a simple perception of it. I think reality is is like this line, right? And every time this line goes by, you only get a view this big. And that basically is the third dimension. Reality is not three-dimensional. Reality is multidimensional. So we all see so little of what we think we're seeing. But yet when you see it, reality is consistent throughout all these cultures. They all believe in reincarnation or death in a way, that there's something in the afterlife. They all believe that everything on the earth is connected some way or another through a divine or through the Mother Earth,
It's true.
That there is reason. The saying that things happen for a reason has been talked down since the beginning of man. I mean, Taoism teaches you to find a balance between, yes, unfortunately, there's necessary evil and there's necessary good. You have to find the balance between both. That, for example, if we had a bad altercation once, right, you won't see me in a good light. But because we're having a good altercation right now, you do see me in a good light. I am not a bad person, but because we had a good conversation, you think I'm a good person. Make sense? And so because of that, cultures are consistent. They all kind of follow the same path. There's always every story you read, there's someone who brought fire. Fire always represented knowledge. You've got the Greeks, Prometheus. He brought knowledge to man. You've got Kukulkan, the Mexicans' version of Prometheus. He brought fire to man. Of course, was punished for it. Then you've got, for example, Satan. Satan convinced Eve to eat the apple. That brought knowledge. It's all consistent somehow in one way or another, but this is everyone's way of trying to understand what they're seeing.
Okay.
So I think because of it, that had taught me.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that because of art, it allows us to understand each other without having to speak. Every culture has, their light bringer. Every culture has their prophet or this or that. But all you have is a drawing of them because all of them date back before photos could be taken. And so art is the pinnacle of our history. Everything we get comes from it. And then other than that, writing. But technically, writing was at one point considered an art. I mean, the peasants, calligraphy. It was considered calligraphy. The peasants couldn't write. They didn't know how to read. And then modern schooling came. All of a sudden, now everyone's doing it. Now it's no longer considered an art. But you can see each other's handwriting. Go, wow, your handwriting's so beautiful. That's art. So art is the first way to understanding everyone. And so that's where I started and where I got so head or feet first.
Okay.
Because I wanted to be understood. So how am I going to get them to understand me? Through art. And I think it definitely worked because now I'm very successful in my career. I have the absolute respect from so many shop artists and other tattoo artists. I mean, there's artists who recognize me, and right off the bat, because of my work, it speaks for itself.
Nice.
People have me in this particular image and think I'm a good man because of the way the art is portrayed. And so I allow my art to speak for me.
Because you are a good man. Huh? Because you are a good man.
I try my best.
Nice. And you know what? It brings me to, I don't believe we mentioned this, but who are you to each other?
I just love the camera switch. I'm just smiling. So we met through a mutual friend who was a good client of mine, and then ended up talking, and then ended up working together. Because I was like, I'm reading this book called Buy Your Time Back. And what it's teaching me is that business is difficult. Find someone to help share the load, and then it won't impact your home life. So you're buying your time back through someone else. And he wanted to do something different with his life other than what he was currently doing. And you were interested in social work. And I'm like, dude, if you want to learn, I'll teach you what I can. And, I've been as a teacher to him toward this, I've been very open about you're going to screw up. That's perfectly fine because if you don't screw up, you will never learn. And so I think doing that and kind of creating that healthy relationship, that's kind of how we end up becoming pretty damn good friends now.
Yeah, he inspires me a lot too, for sure. And
try.
I've never been someone who creates. I've always just been a consumer.
Okay.
A lot of people tend to fall into that. It's easy. It's very easy too. And
it's addictive.
All the great people I want to be like have created things for themselves. So I feel like I have a lot more to say than I have been. And
Okay.
I've been doing myself an injustice. So
I'm glad you decided to join because today Mammoth was supposed to be my guest, and then we kind of decided last minute to have you on too. So I'm glad you did.
Thank you. I didn't think I'd have anything to talk about, but
There's always something to talk about.
Oh, yes.
It's just creating the healthy environment to discuss it.
So you work for Mammoth as his media
manager. Yeah.
I'm looking myself to share the load too.
Girl, I get it. Because I wake up and I'm like, 20 messages. I'm not going to answer that until this time.
So
Trying to save my
so
mental
much
health a little.
anxiety. Yeah.
Yes, and anxiety, especially when posting, because you're like, no one's more judgmental than the internet. Everyone's got a fucking opinion. Everyone's mean. Everyone's nasty, and it's because there's no punishment other than a TikTok.
Right.
And then too, I don't have a problem posting to my page, but his page, I'm still trying to.
Bro, I get nervous on mine.
I'm just still trying to nail the vibe down, and there's 4,000 more people on there than mine. So it's like
I'm sitting at 5,120
Oh,
something. And
nice.
unfortunately, I'm fighting Instagram because it thinks I grow too quickly.
Oh.
And that's annoying because I'm not a celebrity.
Oh, come on.
And then I also am just like $15 for a little check mark. Are you shit?
Oh, right.
And so because I'm not doing
I
that,
hate that.
So they're trying to monetize.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. And so they won't pay me for anything, but they want to get paid. I'm just like,
Right? I hate that. That's
I haven't made a single
hypocritical.
dollar on Instagram because I mean, my
Is
friend
that
had
is that one of the conditions? Do you have to pay for that blue thing
I don't
check
know.
to be able to maybe get monetized?
maybe.
Well, it's
It
the
does
case on
help.
Twitter.
Okay.
Well, which is now X, I guess.
When I did my Friday the 13th post, I made 111,000 views on that post.
Nice.
Or no, 11,000, and it had brought 120,000 to my
wow.
page.
Okay.
And I didn't see a single cent. And then they constantly find excuses to demonetize me.
Oh,
And I'm just
come on.
constantly like, dog, I posted this back in 2014. Why are you mad at me? You know?
Wow.
Yeah. Instagram is that's why I'm
crazy.
looking at Patreon, because they can't tell the people who like what I do, they can't tell them no. They have the power. And I believe we need to take back our power from this big tech fool that runs our life and our children's
Yeah,
life.
we can't support the people we want to on social media. It's not like a street side shop.
I mean, my business solely works through Instagram. So right now, I'm losing money, and I can't do anything about it because Instagram won't let me back into my account.
Oh, what the hell?
They logged me out. I'm able to okay, so here's what I can do. This is going to be fun. I can do this. I can get on it, and then boom.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't get on
something went wrong. Yeah, right.
And so when you reload the page, then it goes, your account was compromised. He and Jazz, or my partner, are the only ones who have access to my account. So I'm just like, interesting. So when Microsoft or Ubisoft or
Whoever
any
bought who.
any company, when they have a social media manager, do you harass them the same?
That's insane.
Yeah.
And so, wait, but your page is still visible. Which one are we talking about?
That was the Golden Serpent, my tattoo page. Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty sure it's probably the verification thing, honestly.
Maybe. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have
they're
to
like,
just
oh,
bite
do
the
you want
bullet
to
and
see a
do it.
page again? You better pay.
I guess.
That's
I'm gonna have
terrible.
to.
Boss.
But
Well,
see,
there it is. It's extortion.
Yeah.
it is. I feel like it's so hard nowadays. I'm so glad that you get help because I'm struggling and I'm realizing that I could grow the podcast even more, but I'm like, okay, I work a full-time job. I have a
hard.
baby. I have a
Yeah.
husband at home. I have a podcast, and I'm like, I try to contact people to be on the podcast, and then I have to monitor, like, do the give my
Finding
schedule,
consistent people,
find
too.
and then also like kind of a schedule, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and then doing this, and then getting the episode edited, posted, edit
All
the
within
reels,
a timely manner of
and
12
then
hours.
it's like, hey, I can't do it all, and I wish I have. The truth is, I have the content to post every day. I'm
Don't have the
physically
time to
not
do it.
able to do it, and so it's like, damn, it's the frustration.
It is a lot of work.
There's so much work.
I've always thought like, oh, social media
Right.
influencers, they don't
They
their
don't realize
job,
how
they
much
have
there is to
easy,
So
man. They have it easy. But then I just start trying to manage this guy's page. It's so difficult trying to come up with
I'm still high
replies.
in anxiety, and yet it's just a little slower because he's helping.
Yeah, and then keeping up with each conversation
Keeping up with the algo's hard.
Oh, yeah.
individually, like,
Right.
oh, I don't even remember what I said to this last guy. Like, I already made so many mistakes with that.
That's why I like
So
to
do-
keep them in the messages so I can refer back.
Yeah,
So
That
do you
way-
do the scheduling too for the?
I tried.
Okay.
So what happens is he has access to my Google Calendar.
Oh,
and then,
I see.
Anybody who wants to book, he sends them the link, and then that Google Calendar is linked up to the appointment software.
Oh, okay.
So if it's not open, he knows it's not available. So we'll sit down, discuss a date based off of my calendar. They go in, make their appointment for that day, and with my hours of work. And so that's how it stays consistent.
Nice.
It's like, I will only work these hours because these other hours I want to spend with my family.
Yeah, right.
And do my
That's
thing.
good.
Like
Good
on
balance.
my phone, I have 2 hours at home that I can, if I'm with my family, I can work. And that's if it's a busy day or if I, if I can. And then there's a certain time after, no phone, no
That's a good
Instagram.
practice.
That way I can sit here and be present for my family. And it's all because I've learned how to or allow myself to be controlled by my own calendar. So I set my time, I set my schedule. I make sure that things run in flow. That way I can reduce my stress. Because with someone like with BPD, you have no choice. You have to do that. Otherwise, it will trigger you into a spiral. And there's no way you'll know you're in a spiral until someone tells you. And I might lash out or I might take it out on someone who doesn't deserve it. And it's not because I'm a bad person. It's because my brain is now in panic mode and it's time to survive. Someone's going to abandon me. Someone's going to hurt me. X, Y, and Z. And they're not good excuses. And so by learning to control my time and my stress, I'm able to reduce the effects of what a spiraling out can cause. And by scheduling like that, I'm more involved with my family.
Nice.
I'm now watching it. It really makes a huge difference to my son because I used to work a lot. There was one time I worked, or hell, just Friday the 13th, I worked 20 hours in 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, good job for realizing that and making the, the effort and splitting your time and doing it, because a lot of people say it and then it stays at just that,
It's unfortunate.
But also a lot of people don't realize that they can actually do that, do the compartmentalization.
Damn it.
You try it too.
We've all fallen.
Compartmentalize.
Compartmentalizing.
Yes, what you said. So do you do anything else in life?
Currently, I have interests, but I am working a 9 to 5. So, I got stuck in that trap.
Okay.
I love to cook. I love to dance. I love to. I'm learning more instruments, but I like to play the trombone. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, but like we were talking about earlier, it's like the tattooing. It's almost like the entertainment industry and everything else that involves like real passion. It's so hard to get into. And it involves so much risk. It's like it never seemed worth it. So I just gave up on everything I was interested in.
Oh, no, that's not good.
It sounds like emotional burnout.
Yeah, well, my
Did you see my
childhood
emotional burnout spoken through Duck?
Yeah.
Did that help?
my childhood was incredibly. I don't think I had time to think about any of that stuff.
Yeah, but see, I feel like for that I'm similar in the sense that it was always in different ways though. But for me, we were 8 at home and I was the older sister. I had to help my parents.
You took on big responsibilities for so young.
And so I had no friends. I was bullied in school because it was easy for them. I would just run. I would like drop my brothers and sisters in daycare and then in school, and then I would run to school and I would get there red like a tomato, and everybody was like, "Oh, did you just go to a sauna?" It's not funny. And I was like, I have other shit to deal with, but and so I didn't fit in any of the groups, and then. So I didn't have time. And so, and to the point that I didn't even have time to have boyfriends and stuff. And at some point, my dad was like, "Are you a lesbian? Or you're going to end up with cats?" And I'm like, right.
Look, you girl, I got 4.
Right.
I'm not a lesbian. I'm a good man.
What does it have to do with it? But, it's like, and so for the longest time, I was just focusing on, I need to make money. I tried to do law school.
Survival.
Yes, I thought I was going to, like go and think about solve the injustice of like the separation with my parents and how the justice system never helped and this and that. It didn't work. I did 3. I failed.
Work here either.
No, and then I failed law school 3 years in a row, and I was like, this is probably not for me because I don't have time to study because I'm helping and I'm running left and right. And
law school's demanding as hell too.
Yeah, then I ended up having a bachelor, and then I was like, okay, what's gonna give me a bachelor that's gonna lead me to a job and that I can start, making more money, because I had like 3 student job at some point, but it's like, okay, you need to enter life and stuff. And I found management assistant. I got my degree, but then long story short, I got kicked out of my parents' house, and then I realized.
Damn, you took care of your siblings and still got kicked out?
Yeah.
Oh, that's rough. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
No, me too.
That's rough as hell.
And as I was living alone, I saw Britney Spears was ending her residency in Vegas, and I've been a fan since I'm 6 years old. And so I was like, shit. I was living alone for once in my life. I had so much money saved because I wasn't helping my parents, and I was like, shit, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I went, and that's how I met my husband.
That's beautiful.
And since I met my husband, we met in line of the concert, but he likes me to make sure that I say that he was not there to see the concert. He actually accompanied a friend of his to drive from Albuquerque to Las Vegas. But
So he's from here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
respect. I mean,
Thank you.
not letting a homie go to a concert alone, respect, especially in another state.
Yeah.
People are weird, especially when they find out you're from somewhere else. It's rough. But I love that. That's awesome. Being
Yeah.
your partner and not into social media. Did you know? I think it's like 13% of people now meet like that.
In real life? Oh, I don't know.
That's
IRL
all.
or
It's
however
really
you say it.
sad.
IRL, I think it's a new term.
Right.
That actually makes me depressed.
78
Yes.
or 76, I think, somewhere like that. It's like social media or dating sites.
Wow. Yeah. I actually got rid of,
through people you know.
because I just got out of a relationship that was really serious, and I had gotten all these dating websites, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, I just need to go
Yes, go out.
I need to go out there and not only find myself, but also just talk to people, whether they're male or female. Like, it's just,
I love
Yeah.
the advice is to focus on yourself before anything. And the reason you should focus on yourself is because when the right person finds you.
and oh my
That's where I
God,
find
Oh,
you.
yeah.
once you start talking to more people, you realize, like, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
No. And then see, for me, like, I went in line at 9 in the morning, and then I started talking to the guy
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
we'd
in
have
front
to
of
go
me.
early. Those are big
Yes,
shows. Yeah.
and it was at 9 at night, but starting to talk to the guy in front of me, and then realized I was not really a Britney Spears fan because I only knew her birthday and that she liked to drink Sprite. For the rest, they knew everything, and I was just like, oh yeah, me too.
That's one of the things that scares me about like getting big is that there's going to be people like that sooner or later, the bigger you
yeah.
get. And you're just like, I've noticed that now I get the effects. It's like when people know me before I even know who they are.
you know them.
And it's weird because they're like, oh, you're Mammoth. I'm like, how do you know that?
I don't have that problem.
It's super weird. And
Nice.
I even went to a show in Gallup and the headliner recognized me. I'm like,
Oh,
sup, dude? Did I tattoo? No. That's cool. Nice to meet you. What's your name? You know, I have to, that's how I learned the art of small talk is like, I don't know who you are, you know, but you know who I am. So it's like, what do I tell you?
Yeah.
So small talk will tell me. And so getting to pick your brain and, you know, figuring it out. And I think that's,
More people
yeah.
need to talk to each other.
but then and then the girl behind me started to talk with us, but she's the one that came to Albuquerque, and then her best friend that spoiler became my husband later in life came to join us back. But so the way we met is just blowing our minds, because we're like, if I went to the line 5 minutes after or whatever, the butterfly effect would have happened, we would never have met. And so go out there. But also what I wanted to say earlier is that my husband is a graphic designer, videographer, photographer.
dope.
And so he has this passion. He's very passionate, and he's known that for the longest time. And for me to never have been able to explore anything that I really liked before meeting him, and living with someone that's so passionate and already found his way, I've always been like,
it's admirable as hell.
what is
Love
my
it.
thing?
It's intimidating.
Yes,
Oh,
but
is that how you feel?
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't
No,
mean to
but
make
you know
feel that
what
way,
though?
man.
For me, and I hope it does for you, it allowed me to try. And I tried sewing. I tried doing nails for people. No, that didn't work for me.
I bet it
But
was
but
rough,
I
yeah.
tried. I always was like, oh my God, I love talking. Maybe I can do that. No,
Good.
I
I don't know when it became
Try.
lame to try. Like,
cannot. Right?
Oh, I know.
Please do.
Or when it was weird to be the smart kid in class.
Yeah,
like,
like,
that was weird.
why
I
is
was
it-
always like, one kid was like, I read a lot. So I was in history. I think it was freshman history. And the teacher would talk, and I would always have the answer. One day he goes, well, if you know so much, why don't you teach? So, every teacher expects them to buckle. I was like, okay, I bet. So got up there, started teaching. Even he learned a few new things. And I thought it was so weird because they would shame me for that. They'd be like, oh, Mr. Smart, you know it all. And I'm like, why is that a problem? Like, you might know something one day later on that I'm like, I have no idea.
Insecure it is.
It's what it is. It's insecurity.
Yeah, and
insecurities are okay to have. It's the actions from that insecurity is when it doesn't become okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with band, when I first started
Band's rough.
in 6th grade, they literally, if you're not the first one in the percussion area, like they're gonna assign you or make you go through the instruments and see which one works for you. But it's like, I wouldn't have known I was good at trombone if I didn't try every single instrument.
Oh, heck yeah.
So
Trying is dope. I love trying.
I know.
That's what you have to do.
You
I
have
didn't
to.
know what I was
You
good
have
until
to
I did.
try.
Yeah.
We're gonna give you homework. You have to try, and please help me in the comments. And you have to. We'll have to do a part 2 at some point.
I'd love
and
to. Always
You
love
know?
to.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
and we're like, okay, where are we?
Yeah.
And hopefully, I have more than 203 followers on Instagram, which I'm
Oh,
really
love
proud of
that.
still.
When I get
I don't
access,
have that much
I will
either.
try to repost you. I
No
know that
problem.
I know that it'll probably get you at least 10 new followers because I have
you
some
know?
pretty fucking crazy fans for some of
Heck
them.
yeah.
Like there's this one. I love him. He's an amazing soul. He's there every month for another tattoo.
That's so
But
cool.
no matter what I'm doing, he's always following. He's always
Nice.
watching. And so is like a few others. Like she's been there since I was really small, and she's followed. I
Nice.
think only 2 of her tattoos aren't mine out of all of her tattoos. She's got a
Nice.
lot. So I hope that when I get on, I can help build you.
Yeah, and it's not. I'm not like targeting a number, but I want people to hear your guys' stories that
That's
that
how
we're
Oprah
sharing.
started, literally
Yeah.
just talking about other people's stories.
Yeah,
And
I
now look at her.
never thought
Slayer.
I'd ever have such an audience to do that. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for having me. It's always fun. I always wanted to be in a podcast or on a podcast. And
Well, you're a good talker, so I have no doubt that you could have your own podcast
I
too.
know I was telling him.
And if you do, honestly, Lester, here the podcast studio is amazing.
Oh no, it's dope as hell. I like it here.
It's home.
With a bunch of new directions that my business is now going, I'm finally able to save more money again.
Nice.
Because right now it takes me about $2,300 just to break even a month.
Oh wow.
And so, I get to deal with those kind of things, and it's a lot of stress. And now I'm looking at dropping that number down,
Oh,
and I'm like, I have so much excitement that I'm like, okay, I might actually be able to afford a podcast now.
Yeah. And, or sponsoring Marie+One's podcast.
That's cool.
Just help a sister.
No, I'd love to
big
help.
sister.
I'd love to help out. Big
No.
sis.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always joking, but which brings me, we're already 3 hours in, but please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you like this content, because I always do. I always end up forgetting. We have a tradition. We have 2 traditions in the show, but one of them is I have 2 stacks of little cards. One stack is our life questions, and the other one are expressions. And I'm going to ask each of you to choose a card from each stack, and then we'll read them, and you can tell us if it means anything to you. You can pick.
So I would pick one for live
No.
questions and what, or
Yeah, so you pick a card in
Is this
each
from life?
stack. Doesn't
card
matter.
in each?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Card in each.
Sick.
Same for you.
That's a dope question. What a beautiful quote. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. It's true. How do you argue such a
Good.
beautiful point,
Your life does
love
not
it.
get better by change or by chance. It gets better by change.
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what we've been talking about.
If you could change one thing about your past, what would it be? And the answer is absolutely nothing.
Heck
I
yeah.
would go through every single thing again. Reluctantly, but would do it again.
It asks, what is the most important relationship in your life right now? I would say that's my sister.
Is it me?
Nope.
That's okay.
No.
Don't tell him.
It's between my best friend, Sean, and...
Love Sean, great guy.
I love Sean.
Yeah, great dude.
And my sister.
Okay.
Yeah. They've been my biggest rocks.
Hell yeah, man.
Because of-
Love that.
Yeah.
Sean's a great guy. Good rock to have.
Nice. Thank you for sharing
That's
that.
how we met.
Wow.
He found me through the internet, started getting tattoos by me, and then he got a tattoo by me on his ribs.
Yeah.
And then we ended up becoming friends.
He was like, that's the most painful spot, right? And I was like, yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was like, all right, just so
All right.
you know that I will just be using Lido. And
It still sucked.
Yeah, helped. Just sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to mine.
Okay.
I love it.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
Before we go to the last tradition, I wanted to ask you about your tattoos. Did you want to go through them and kind of, letting us know what they mean to you?
So my left hand was something that I earned as a kid. When I was 14, I was in Hamilton, Texas. I always confuse Hamilton and Holton. They're both... And Hamilton, Texas had a wild pig issue. They were considered a nuisance animal, and one of the reasons they were considered nuisance is they destroyed the environment and they reproduced like crazy.
Oh, I see.
Unfortunately, I happened to go to this city or this town, and it's the country.
Okay.
Your furthest neighbor is definitely a couple miles away, you know?
Wow.
And so I'm walking with this kid. I think I'm 13, 14 or whatever. I don't remember anymore. And all of a sudden, we hear snorts. And I was just walking because he was bored and we were talking. And I heard snorts. And I was like, oh, shit. And at that time, I had a gun on my hip because you never go anywhere in the forest without a gun like that because, pigs.
Okay.
I also happen to have a knife on my hip. And unfortunately, you can't shoot a pig in the head. Oh, well, these kind of pigs, they're basically boars because they have very thick skulls. They could go through a tree. So that bullet ain't going to do much. So I had to push the kid as the pig charged me and slice its throat.
What caliber are you shooting at?
It was only a 9. A 9 would have not done that. A 9 would not have done shit to a pig.
9 doesn't go through a boar's skull.
Not like them, no.
What the heck? That is...
And, I mean, if I had a 45, sure. 38, sure. 9,
that is...
And it wasn't a really good one. They gave me that, oh, here, kid, gun.
The Taurus.
Yeah, like a Taurus, It's not the most reliable. But however, I knew I wouldn't have been a good shot, so I cut it because I knew I could get it. So I jumped on the pig's back, cut its throat, brought it back to the camp, ate the pig,
Okay, who are you?
A Texan.
Story?
I'm a Texan, yep. I wear the cowboy hat for a reason. But
Nice.
that's what this is all about. It's about, hunting and about strength.
You'd be surprised what you're capable of when
Oh, yeah.
presented
When
with...
you
No,
get
I'm right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all the way down to the state of mind. So hunting to the state of mind and to the family heritage. Because even on my chest, I have Taino work.
Wow.
And so my tattoos here is more of respect to my lineage and also respect to, becoming a man. That's when my family was like, well, you're a man clearly because you just killed a pig and your 30-something-year-old stepdad shot a pig in the ass and it got away. You're the reason we are even eating tonight. And so at 14, I became a man. And so that's where this started.
I wish more boys had that experience in life. Just a
This
moment
is
of...
just because it's cool.
Yeah.
That's just sick, but...
Oh, also all of my designs. I've designed all of them
Oh,
based
wow.
off of literature and just artistic flair. I still have to do my hand, but hand tattoos are very difficult to do when you're a tattoo artist because of gloves. So you have to take time off to allow it to heal,
Oh,
or you'll get
shrips, I
infected, which is
see.
why this one isn't right. I didn't know.
Was it a cover-up?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
However, though, the cover-up went bad because I thought I had good hygiene in my gloves, and turns out I did not.
Oh, shit.
And so it got infected, so the lie lost a lot of color, but it was very vibrant at one point.
Does, would you say writing? What does all
Runes.
this mean?
A lot of it's just Old Norse, different incantations, bind runes, different symbols. Like you got hope, you've got the symbol of cursed because, unfortunately, my family has a family curse of being pieces of shit and not wanting to grow up. And so by acknowledging that, it allowed me to,
Break that.
be a better person.
Nice.
But also the goal with this design too was to float anatomically. So whenever my arm moves, it stays straight no matter the direction.
Oh.
Because versus his, rotate, it moves.
Oh, I see.
The tail
Yep,
actually
the tail
dances.
moves. Yep.
Oh, fun.
Whereas my ink doesn't move at all because it's based off of the muscle grouping. And that's how I designed it. So I studied anatomy, and then I also studied history, and then basically created art to bridge that gap for me.
There you go. Tattoo school.
Yeah.
Right?
Anatomy
This
and
one's supposed
history.
to be about the sanctity of marriage becoming one. So when you look at it, they're connected and interwoven. You know, you got this being called the Valknut, which is, you know, represents the 9 realms and those who have died. I've got Yggdrasil on the back, which, you know, represents life. Then I've got, oh no, I can't remember the name. It's the Taino sun god, you know. And then I have my chest, and I have to bridge those together. So yeah, mostly it's just family culture and lineage, and it's just that's all I really like Anubis being the guardian of the dead. You know.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. This one's just because it's similar to my partner's.
Oh, I
Just
see.
mine's the more, you know, dead one.
Oh.
Hers is more pretty and robust
Oh, I see.
and vibrant.
Nice. Do you have, do you have any tattoos you want to share us, tell us
Or
the story about?
I can actually show you his that he did.
Careful with nippage.
Yeah. Can I show this?
It's
Yeah?
a tattoo.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's not inappropriate.
I mean, I'm
It's the
not
Grim Reaper.
sponsored by any means, or I don't make any money on this. But
I will
so-
show you.
Patreon.
right, I know I should. I probably
So,
should.
Right here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's me work.
That is
I had
some
to
of his
actually
work.
have a friend who had a much bigger needle. I believe I used like a 27 or something. I don't remember.
Wow.
I had to use a big needle to do all of this, but it
Grim
healed
Reaper.
wonderful.
I actually saw this on a coworker's shirt, and I was like, "Yeah, that's really cool."
Looks great even on the screen.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
It's so dark. That's my favorite part about it.
It's because I also spent quite a bit of time learning the differences between
Thank you.
blacks and blacks with color pigmentation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I spent a lot of time finding one that really was dark. And I'm glad it really showed well with this tattoo.
Yeah, and it
And
took
it
4
healed
hours,
well.
so
Yeah.
it's pretty quick.
Yeah, it was pretty quick that.
Yeah.
I had one sleeve where it was so detailed. I think we had to break it up to 8 sessions. Yeah.
Wow.
Because he wanted lots and lots of detail.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I only did what I could.
nice. Well, you guys, I have another tradition on the show is that at the end of each episode, I ask a question from the previous guest.
Oh.
So the previous guest in this case was Faye Torres, and she didn't know that you guys were going to be my next guest, and so she asked a question, and then afterwards you'll be able to write a question too for the next guest, and you don't know who that's going to be.
Sweet.
And so her question was, what brings you the most peace, and what do you do every day to maintain that?
That's a great question.
Who wants to go first?
Do you have your answer?
You probably have yours right now.
My great piece is watching my son get to grow up to be a kid. And watching him being loved by 2 parents or 3 parents, because like me and his mom don't agree a lot, but I know she at least tries a little. And I know she definitely loves him. There's no doubt in my mind that she loves him. So I get to watch my kid have a healthy childhood because I busted my ass off. So that brings me a lot of peace and motivation.
Nice.
But the way I maintain it is through speaking with my partner. I mean, I can't do this alone. It's very difficult. And so that healthy communication really makes a huge difference in preserving what you're protecting. And so for me, my son, it's funny, my son actually giggles and gets all excited when I kiss my partner or I'm affectionate with my partner. He loves it. And so because of it, that shows that I know he's always watching, and by leading in this example, he's showing what a healthy relationship looks like. And that brings me so much inner peace and keeps
really
that
cute.
motivation going because I want him to have that.
Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, I did shrooms.
Ooh, good stuff, yeah. Psychedelics help a lot with healing.
Yeah, and it helped me visualize kind of me as a child, everything I lacked, and the kind of love I think I deserve.
That's such a beautiful question. What do I deserve in love?
Yeah, so from that moment onward, I've been able to visualize myself as a child and show myself the love I need when I need it.
Good.
So I think my piece right now is just falling in love with myself, and I'm doing that by taking myself out on dates when I want.
Heck yeah.
Oh, yes. Self-care.
Yes.
So, man, I didn't want to cry, but
Oh,
Hey, it's
no,
okay.
good.
You didn't feel it, man.
That's
You're
why we
good.
were saying. Shit, we
Neither
all
of
allowed
us
to
are gonna
cry.
judge
Come,
you,
damn
dog.
it. Yes.
man, that's crazy.
What, not being judged for crying?
No, I didn't expect to cry at all today.
Yeah, that's usually how the best cries happen.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's my piece.
Dude, that's beautiful. Self-love and respect and
Yeah.
caring for you as an individual. Top tier good shit.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And I want to also emphasize that you said the love you think you deserve, and it's the love you deserve. You deserved and you deserve to date still. I'm so sorry you didn't get that. And I'm so sorry. It feels like neither one of us really did get it the way we deserved to, have gotten it. I know you're just like, I don't, I'm good. But fuck,
I mean, I wanted love, but I gave up on it so long ago. It became one of those, I no longer needed it because I had to learn to love myself.
yeah, but that's not
Yeah.
okay though. That's not okay to just be like, what? You know what? Okay. And I don't want to make you a enemy, whatever. But it's like, or mad. But I just feel like it's okay to say that we deserved better. We deserved better, and that's why you're a better parent. That the parents you had, and that's why. Damn, when I was pregnant with my son with Joshua, we used to say, and that always get me emotional too. But I'm jealous almost of my son because I wish I had us as parents. Fuck, we're so cool and we're so great and we're so
And that's the best
attentive and
feeling ever,
loving and yes. And so I'm so sorry. But I'm so glad you went through that journey. I'm so scared to do mushrooms. I think I'm not ready. I don't think I would ever
And
be.
that's
I
a good
think
way to
everyone
not do
should at least once.
I agree. I heavily agree.
Yeah.
Just so healing.
It's not that I put it to you like this. Yes, I do care about what people think. However, I can't control how they think.
No,
I can't
okay.
control how they feel about me. Everyone's entitled to how they feel about me, and that's fine. And if you want to talk about it, that's perfect because then I'll understand where you're coming from. I can't control how they'll feel about me. But what I can control is my reaction toward them. So if you want to be negative and mean, that's fine. That is your thing to do. I can't control that. But if you want to come from a place of loving and understanding, then yeah, let's talk this through. Let's see if I can change your perspective, and maybe we walk away, even if we disagree, with better perspectives of each other. But I don't need it because I would much rather put in the self-love and loving myself than loving or getting someone to love me because that's basically external validation, where validation begins with you.
Yeah, but you needed to do all that work in order to be
And
able
people
to
need to
say
be there
that.
to do that too.
Yes,
Yep.
because my fear is that people are just going to take that shortcut and be like, oh, yeah, that's true. You know what I mean? But without having done the work, and if you didn't do the work, then whenever you have children, you won't have that step back to be able to actually be a better parent, and you're just going to redo the same,
The same
toxic
mistakes.
circles.
Yeah.
Yeah, because because you didn't actually go through them, but I know you did, so that's why we agree ultimately.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I do think that yes, the only way you can change is if someone's able to notice a mistake. However, there's also how the delivery is done. You can come to someone and be like, "Hey, I didn't really like how you made me feel that way," or be like, "Hey, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? Why did you do this?" And I'm like, "Well, first of all, I didn't do this." It's hard. You put out the energy you will receive. And so when people are coming to me nicely, then they're coming to me in a place of criticism, of trying to help. Then I love that. I always welcome criticism because otherwise I can't improve. However, there's a difference between good communication and good criticism versus being toxic and just an asshole. So one day your podcast will have people who will just comment mean things just to comment mean things. Obviously, they're not there to help. However, if someone's like, hey, dude, try the aspect ratio at this and try that. I think it might help with your footage. And you do that, and boom, your footage looks great. And if you were been like, oh, I know better than you, and that's because you're allowing ego to speak for you. Instead, you're letting someone else suggest something. At least give it a try.
Right.
Because if they're right, obviously, it'll show itself. But if they're wrong, it'll also show themselves too. There's no absolute right way, and not everyone goes through the same way. My favorite saying was something that was told to me when I was a little kid. A mountain is big and tall for a reason. There's many different avenues to get to the top. You have to find the avenue that is best for you. And so that means there's no such thing as a cookie cutter way to do it. It all works based on how you want to do it. So if you want to do the harder work, you could do it. If you want to do the easier work, you could do it. You want to do between both, it's your choice, but you create the choices in your life. And I think that's why I have gotten this far in my life and why I definitely would not change anything. And that's because if it wasn't for the fucking suffering consistently, I never would have came to that conclusion.
And which I'm curious to know your opinion on that too, which also scares the hell out of me raising my son, because you, me, Christian, my husband, we went through shit growing up, and that made us who we are today, right? So how do we raise our children to be tough, to be smart, to to do all that from a place of love? It's almost like, is it possible? And I'm sure it is, but it's like, well, that's not what we grew up as with an as an example.
Exactly,
So
it's difficult.
To me, it's like they get to learn from their own mistakes and not from the mistake you made.
Yep.
It's like
let them theory.
You grant them that ability to just learn on their own.
You want to play on the couch? Okay. You're going to fall off the couch. I can tell you until I'm blue in the face. Until you fall off that couch, you're not going to believe me.
Right.
So experience
and that's
is
a gift, because my grandparents didn't let me learn anything on my own.
And that did you an absolute injustice.
It did nothing for me. It actually really stunted me, and I'm still learning things about how normal people work that I'm just like, what?
We have this drain system in our porch or in our patio in our apartment, and it's easy for his toy to go down. If his toy goes down, guess it's gone. You should have been more careful with your things. You don't get things back if you break them. You don't get things back if you're not careful with your stuff.
Yep.
And by teaching him the indefinite of his consequence, it teaches him to understand that, because keep in mind, boys are a little dumb versus girls. Girls can talk. You can talk to them sometimes, and or they can watch, and then they learn. But boys, I've noticed, because I also raised my two little brothers for quite some time, let them hurt themselves. Pain will teach them. Life will teach them. Life is the best teacher there is. You have to be there as their safety net so that they're not doing it on their own. They have someone to fall back on. However, after time, though, I'm a firm believer you got to pull the safety net back further, because every time you keep it, too high, then they can become too dependent. My son's very independent. He plays with himself. He has no problems. He's bored. He goes and finds something to do. Why? Because I've taught him that being bored is okay. To go find something to do. You don't have to have me every single second. Or when we're playing, he now knows how to come and tell me he wants to play. He'll come and grab at me. When he wants something, he tells me by, trying to show me. And so I have allowed him the safety net to be able to make mistakes. Like, he's fallen off a couch. One time he crawled out his bed and split his lip. He got busted up really bad, but I can tell you right now, he never tried it again. I mean, I freaked out, walked out, I was like, oh my God, there's blood and everything. I had to run him in. I even had to take off my clothes to help try to fix his face in the shower, but he never once did it. Why? Because life taught him, And when we take away that, life can't teach. Yeah. And I think that we as a society have allowed the digital era to take us away from life and create this boundary that life is trying so hard to come in. We're just too damn
these days are so scared.
So scared.
So scared of everything. Just won't even take their kids.
I'm like, kid, go outside, get on that bike, get a road rash, come back, let me fix you up, get back out there. You'll be fine.
It's like, just because you hear about Just because you listen to true crime podcasts all the time doesn't mean this is always what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, like
I mean, my hands cut pretty good. It was bad. I learned my lesson. I'll never do it again. So I'm 27 years old and life is still teaching me.
Yeah.
There's no way I could possibly teach him better than life itself. And so he's going to have his hardships. Your goal is to help make sure he has a safety net.
Yeah.
And let him be himself, find himself, and do his thing.
Yeah. Well, you guys, I'm not trying to cut this by any means, but I think you might have to go pretty soon. And
Yep, sure do.
so
Right on the dot.
I know it's weird how things work sometimes.
My wife just messaged me.
So I was going to ask you if you wanted to share anything else before we leave for today, but maybe we can leave it for part 2.
I
No,
like the
just,
saying, you're the writer of your story. That's a good one.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, and
Thank you.
go follow Golden Serpents.
Yes.
Golden Serpent Studio.
Golden
the Black
Serpent
Mammoth
Studios.
On Instagram. Yeah.
Yes, I'll
The
make
Black
sure.
Mammoth and the Black Man that runs his studio.
Let's
his
go.
media.
There we go.
The reason I chose Black Mammoth is because the black is supposed to represent the death of culture.
Oh.
The mammoth is something that was once a part of history,
Okay.
but the black of it is the death of it,
Okay.
of history and culture. And so the whole point of the mammoth is to keep that going.
Okay.
So
And so, okay, I guess it's good to ask you after 3 hours and 25 minutes of recording, but so what is it your first name?
my first name is actually Xavier, but
Oh.
I go by the nickname
Okay.
Mammoth that was given to me when I was an
I don't even
apprentice.
call him Xavier.
Nobody really knows my real name.
Okay. Oh, I feel lucky. Sorry, I mean, and I'm sure it's some people's names, but don't know. I would just wanted to make sure. Perfect. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you had a great episode. I sure did. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you want to be part of the podcast, there is a forum in my bio on Instagram. Please go fill it out, and then you can be across of me on this table. I was up at 4 today.
I was up at
I
6,
think
so I
it's
get
starting
it.
to
Starting to get you.
yes. But you don't give a shit on the other side of the camera, so it's fine. Please have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Deuces.
Later.